Oh, I mute
Well,
myself.
hi there, everyone, and welcome to our little live stream, which I have to cancel. I have to cancel the volume on my other ones, so just give me a moment. And yeah, I want to welcome everybody, and we're going to get right into it. So, a big welcome to everybody who's here, and if there's any mods, I don't know. But most of all, I want to welcome Genetic Code for helping me. She put this live together. She has been amazing. I've just been moving, so I've only just got my laptop set up. So Jen has done just about everything for me.
That's
So
not
welcome,
true.
Jen.
It's your live stream. You're doing it now.
Yeah, and also for Jan, who is going to give us some really, really, really interesting information on the activities of somebody. We won't mention names, but we all know who it is. And she'll
Yeah.
be giving that information a little bit later. So, welcome, Jan.
Oh, yes. Thank you for arranging this. It's nice to be here. Got loads and loads of information that we're going to share that I think everybody will find interesting. I did ask a certain person to come along and see if they wanted to join us, but apparently not. But hello, if you're listening.
Maybe the
And
invite was lost in the mail. That happened. That happened to books once upon a time.
yes, we're going to talk about that issue as well, funnily enough.
Oh,
But yeah, Lizzie, sorry. Hello, everybody. I'll let Lizzie carry on.
Okay, well, first of all, what I wanted to do was make sure that we talk about all the latest stuff first, the disgusting things that's been happening, the issues, and Jen has really kindly got all the videos or screenshots necessary for us to use. The first one, I think you'll all agree, I think it needs to be known for the subs, his subs, that he was very careful about his week away. He didn't mention anything. He alluded in his community post that he was working with his lawyers. I think it was mentioned that he was working on his second book, when in actual fact, he was in Malta.
he didn't
Now,
even work on the first book.
yeah, exactly. And the point is that he he was very careful when he came back. He didn't mention anything. He didn't know that we knew all the time that he was in Malta. And not only was he in Malta, he won. He won money. And if you'll notice, he's been very careful not to beg too much. Now, that doesn't include the begging links that have gone
Like
into his
like
live.
78 that he had in just one YouTube stream alone.
Now, didn't I think Mike said was there 175?
115. I'm assuming that included Patreon as well.
Yeah.
But that's not begging when he's come back after winning a lot of money at poker. Then just because he's not outwardly going on a begging pity party, all those links going in is just as bad.
Yes, especially the PayPal one, where obviously we have no idea how many people are sending him PayPal.
And Fundly, the Fundly one dropped a lot.
And the ladies who have been sucked in over Messenger to send him money off of the board. So there's that as well.
And that is, I think, what it's all about. We don't care if he goes to poker. Go and do whatever you want. But the fact is, and this is where the title comes in, he has a money agenda, and that's why he's there. That's why he's doing it. And everything he does is to look for the ultimate way of getting money from them. And right now, I think, I'm not sure, what has he got? He's got around 600 patrons right now. He used to have 1,500. And at that time, he was receiving about 25,000 a month.
Flipping heck.
Yeah. And that was, I've got it all down. It shows there's nobody can question. But right now, because things are looking a bit downhill, he's probably 600 patrons at least $10 a month average. That's 6,000. So then you add in his membership, you add in the what else is there? PayPal, the super chat, the merch, and we're probably looking at least 10,000
a month.
A month, every month. That's what he's getting. Even though he turns around and says, "I don't make any money on YouTube." The fact is, he advertises all his money-making efforts on YouTube, so he needs YouTube, and he is making money ultimately from YouTube in that manner. So,
and he's constantly spamming the his spanners are encouraged to put a link up a minute. So basically, you're seeing that all the time. Literally spamming.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things too, right? It goes right along with everything else that YouTube doesn't adhere to in their own terms of service. There's a couple off the top of my head that I can think of. First of all, I mean, yeah, you're not supposed to be spamming. I have never, honestly, I don't know if anybody else can come up with an example. In all of my time on YouTube, in any single live stream that I have ever gone into, nothing even to do, like right across the board, I have never seen a chat like his drop in spam as much as he does, and nothing happens. And a lot of those, the majority of those links are directing people off of YouTube too, which is another breach of YouTube's terms of service.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and let's not forget, which I've just forgot, the Fundly. The Fundly.
Yes.
He advertises for the Fundly, and this is what we'll get into a little bit later, the fact that he claimed that it was to use for his lawyers. And in reality, the Fundly is set up so that he can actually receive it in his bank within a week or so, and it still shows as the amount on the original page, and he can use every penny up, and it doesn't show on the page. And this is where Jan first came in to ask him where the receipts are for that Fundly. And this is where, again, Jan, you'll be. I should call you JC and Jan. I'll try.
Yeah, please. Call me Jan. I only ever use Jan.
Yeah, and so we don't know for sure. We cannot prove anything, but
I have a suspicion where they are.
Yeah, we all have.
Kind of fits in with his poker name, all in the garbage bin.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one thing I want to point out about this channel, and also the fact that JC is live streaming this to her channel too. So we can get all of Jen's subs, because I've only got a few, and everybody can see this. And that's why I wanted to really get into it. And what we deal with is facts. We do not claim things unless we mention that we believe it could be possible. We never claim it to be true unless it's just a suggestion and we let them know. But everything we do is expose him, and usually in his own words.
Yes.
Every video that comes out, supposedly, supposedly we're haters. We don't hate. We are here to expose, and that is a totally different thing. Totally.
The only hating that's going on is the fact that he hates what we're doing, which is exposing him. That's the only hate going on.
Yeah, and the hate towards the family as well. He is,
Oh, well, yes, yes, good point.
yeah. Um, and what we are going to be talking about tonight, obviously, in terms of things that we are concerned about, do not fall under the purview of Frankie's lawsuit, which is going ahead. It is definitely 100% going ahead. He is taking AD to court, and for the very least, harassment and libel. And I will also go into more detail on that. But everything that we're looking at tonight is also separate from Frank. So what I'm telling you tonight um, won't be anything that Frankie will be dealing with. It's evidence that I've gathered and spotted over the years, and
That's
so it's not going to affect Frankie's case. In fact, it may well help him very much. But
yeah.
he's a naughty boy and he's dropped himself in the khaki big time.
Yeah, well, he's not
So,
just like
mm,
that. Calling him a naughty boy, I think that's a
yes,
compliment.
that's
Um,
me being mild.
yes, yes, I realize that,
Mm.
and it's for him to do what he does and to claim that we are haters is really um, is really wrong. The other thing that really aggravates me is that he will not address and well, we have a Facebook group called No Hate,
Hi,
just
Frankie.
exposing
Sorry,
AD.
sorry, Lizzie.
And there is no hate. We don't, well, there might be a few little comments, which, crikey, it's normal. But we only expose him, as I said before, and in the videos with his own words. And but he never addresses our group. He never mentions anything about what we have claimed, and of course he knows it because we have some of his spanners in the group, and it, it kind of amazes me. So I'm wondering whether or not he doesn't address anything because
Neither
he,
does the banner that comes in the group either.
yeah, well, he knows that nothing we say he can say anything against because generally every single thing is factual. And what I love about our group is that Mike Shore, he does a grumpy news every day. And honestly, he has so many followers now because he is brilliant at giving a synopsis from the night before.
Yeah.
he, there is always, I mean, there's the whole of it is really good. He's very factual too. He's very sarcastic and his humor is so great. There's always one thing that just really honestly makes me chuckle. So I encourage everybody to pop in, even if you just want to look at Mike's. And at some point, I'll probably be reading out one or two, not necessarily today, but some other time because they are brilliant. And
Mm.
he's and it also it's a synopsis you don't have to watch. You can hear everything that happened the following day without having to watch. He's great.
You
He's
know
got a lot
what?
of skills.
It's too bad if he'd had any sort of brain to him, he would have got Mr. Shaw to write his pamphlet for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Not that
that's
he would have, not that he would have done it, but you know what I mean.
yeah. But that well, his second pamphlet is, I believe, in production, and we've had several very tall stories about that one, like we did the first one.
and
And we will be talking about that. That comes into two areas that I want to discuss in depth a bit later on. But hello, Frankie Junior. It's
oh,
lovely
hi,
to see
Frankie.
you in here. You are more than welcome, and we are 100% behind you and doing everything to support you and your family. So, it's brilliant that you're here. Anyway, back over to Lizzie. I'll shut up.
No, you don't.
No fighting, ladies. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Frankie. That's smashing that you're here. Really pleased. And everybody else. I'm sorry I'm not going through names because I specifically wanted this live to be about the issues, so that anybody who clicks on it will find an issue at whatever point in the live that they click onto.
Lizzie,
And yes,
sorry, just sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
yes, you
would
do.
you mind? Well, I do, but I'm not trying to be rude. Would you mind actually modding Frankie? Because I'm the only spanner in that spanner. Oh, I did not just use that word.
Yes, you used that word.
Did. I'm so sorry. Oh, mod. I'm the only mod
Okay.
in there, and I just can't keep an eye on everything. So just on the off chance, I'd rather he be prepared.
Okay, well, I'm going to try and do that. But in the meantime, could you start with one of the issues that you've got the information for, maybe Majestic
Sure.
Park or whatever?
Mm.
See, sorry, now I didn't mean to
try and-
segue you. I just kind of wanted to get that in there.
Jen,
before. I did say
listen, everybody. Jen did absolutely everything to set these lives up. She's streaming on her own channel too. She did everything. I haven't had access, or I haven't included anything. So, Jen, you've been great. JC, okay, bye. I'm off to give. I'm off to give a wrench to Frankie.
So really, enough of that, Lizzie. All I did was, what did I do? I uploaded a couple videos. I set up. So yeah, I did actually set it up that right now on my Genetic Code channel. This live is actually simultaneously streaming. I know somebody that's going to really hate that, but figured that's the best way to do it. Get the more channels getting the content out there at the same time, and double the channels for replay as well. So what I'm going to go ahead, Lizzie wanted to, okay, which one am I going to start with here first? There was a couple of quick things she wanted to, yes, actually, we'll start with, we'll do the Majestic Park interview. So
before you start that, Jen, I'm not logged into my Lizzie channel, so I believe you have to add mods from regular YouTube, right?
I am.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I can't do that because I'm not logged in.
I am getting messages come up when people post, so basically I can keep an eye, a weather eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, if something, I mean, not that I'm trying to jinx anything, but if something does happen, just let me know and I'll take care of it. I can't log into YouTube as Lizzie to do it.
Frankie's just saying that he's 2 minutes behind and he didn't want to fast forward and miss something. And of course, we were talking about that particular person. Well, let's call him Gollum. That, in fact, that's quite a decent name for him. It's too good for him. But we were just talking about the Gollum's income per month without the state benefits that he gets from the UK, and the fact that he has once again misled his subs and gone to Malta for his week-long poker junket and actually won. So that's where you've missed Frankie.
You know what? It's not just about the fact that he's just gone to Malta. Now, the actual holiday itself, who knows how much that cost? Airfare.
What does it matter? It's his subs paid for.
Hotel. Yes, that's the point. Hotel costs. He's also got the cost of his food. He's also got the cost of his, the nightly, if
the
there's
poker,
any nightly booze. But the point is, he was there for at least 7 days. I can't remember. But to enter into one of those tournaments, one of the tournaments that he won, it cost him $550 to enter. That was just one on the 22nd. And the day before, or maybe earlier on the 22nd, he paid 300 and something. That's just paying him one day for what he won.
Well, look at June 24th and 25th alone. If you combine those two, which I have on that screenshot, that chart that Lizzie put together, just alone, if you combine June 24th and 25th, he won £4,390, which is $5,312 US and $6,800 Canadian. 4,300 pounds he won in 2 days, and he's coming back to YouTube, dropping links and begging for money.
Yeah, but the point also is that on the 24th, he spent $550 to enter that. On the 24th or 25th, he spent 300 and something to enter it. And he was there 7 days. So overall, that was close to 1,000 just for 2 days that it cost him. So if he was there for the rest of that 7-day period, and it was mostly about $250 a day, I think he had to pay to enter into that particular tournament. I don't know how many during those days, but just, if you look at 550 plus 3, and then maybe one more day, that's $1,000 just right there. So.
Yeah, and one that I've just noticed, one of the excuses that he gave to his subs about not being round, apart from writing his second pamphlet and consulting with his non-existent lawyers, someone's just mentioned that apparently he said, I'm just going back on it, someone used it. He used Chicken Lady's illness for taking a break. That's
right.
from Sunray.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's 3 excuses, for him going away and sunning himself, and playing poker on very vulnerable people's money.
Roberta Armour says he was also too busy contacting Miss Mensa.
Oh yes, yes. And we mustn't forget how diligent she was in protecting
scumbag attackers.
Yep, in protecting Frankie and Sandra and Frank's memorials. From the dreaded other person from Australia who was threatening to go. She claimed that she was liaising with the family to set up CCTV. I think that Frankie Jr. and Frank could probably call the police if they had any problems in that direction.
Well, I found that actually very interesting because this was all among, so this is all in between Chicken Lady dealing with this horrible illness that she has told everybody that she has. So she's been working on behind the scenes with all of those victims that fell prey to Dodgy Dave, right? Remember that? So then from that she moved. So this is all while she's ill, everybody. We remember the video with the heart monitor playing in the background. So this is while this is all happening. She's also working, according to Greedy Guts McGee, as you said, as a liaison with the police, law enforcement, between the cemetery and Saratoga Trail. Now, we know that if anything, that law enforcement, so law enforcement all this time has done nothing about AD's claiming of cover-ups and all of his fans sending, videos to the DA and law enforcement. They don't pay any attention to that, but they do help them get security measures in place for the family. That makes sense.
Yeah, you can imagine it, can't you? And what has really, really pushed me and made me so angry is the last week's crap that he's been pushing out about Frankie and the family. It's absolutely disgusting and unbelievable.
And the thing is, because we know, and that is proof, he has no empathy. Because I often sit and think, how would it?
Sorry.
Okay. I often sit and think, if I can even get to a place to kind of imagine how that must feel, and you can't. None of us can. none of us can think of the worst scenario. You know, you can think of when people die, that's really sad. When people die violently, that's really sad and really bad. But when that kind of thing happens, we could never, ever, ever, ever feel what they must go through. I
Yeah.
just, you know,
Ev-
obviously can't explain it.
every single day, and don't forget, you know, in the first 3 years, it was lives 3 or 4 hours long, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, and then Patreon. It was literally more or less 18 hours a day, and the family were having to listen to all these lies and outrageous statements. And no one can put themselves in their position.
No.
You know, it's unfathomable. But as to his reaction, I will come on to that later, because there is some elements that I want to discuss of how and why he behaves as he does, which I will enlighten you a little bit towards. But sorry, I'm handing back to Lizzie.
That's okay. Thanks, Jan. Yes, no, I want people to know what's coming up, because we had so much to put together. Or GC had so much to put together. So maybe you can go back to addressing the Majestic Park.
Yeah,
issue.
we'll talk about the never before unseen footage that he actually did show back in April 18, 2020, afterwards. So what I'm going to do is, you guys recall him manipulating that the Majestic Park interview with NK. I'm going to go ahead and play this for us right now.
Beep, beep.
You know, and then he finally came clean, and he was like, yeah, it's mine. And I knew. It's like, of course you knew. Like, you know, come on, how would you not know that your wife is like, what is 15 weeks, 4 months pregnant? I mean, seriously. So he told me, and I just, I don't know. I've never I have never felt like he's lied to me. I've always felt like he's been pretty upfront with me this entire time. And then after that happened yesterday, between him lying to me, or coming clean about lying to me, and then his wife not coming home, I was like, you know what? I wonder if there's more to this story than I know, you know? And it's really hard for me to process this, because I think he's a really good guy. And, you know, I'm worried about his wife and kids. Like, really worried about his wife and kids. Like, I don't know where they are. You don't know where they are. Nobody knows where they're at. And it's just freaking me out, because those little girls are like, they're so little. And she's pregnant, you know, and it's like, where's their mom? Where are these babies? And it makes me sad. And it's just this whole combination of like, she's still not back. And then him lying to me. And I'm just like, I just felt like I needed to talk to you guys and tell you guys, like, I'm concerned. I'll help you in any way that you guys need help. You know, and then he finally came clean, and he was like, yeah, it's mine. And I knew. It's like, of course you knew. Like, you know, come on, how would you not know that your wife is like, what is it, 15 weeks, 4 months pregnant? I mean, seriously. So, he told me, and I just, I don't know. I've never I have never felt like he's lied to me. I've always felt like he's been pretty upfront with me this entire time. And then after that happened yesterday, between him lying to me, or coming clean about lying to me, and then his wife not coming home, I was like, you know what? I wonder if there's more to this story than I know, you know? And it's really hard for me to process this because I think he's a really good guy. And, you know, I'm worried about his wife and kids. Like, really worried about his wife and kids. Like, I don't know where they are. You don't know where they are. Nobody knows where they're at. And it's just freaking me out because those little girls are like, they're so little. And she's pregnant, you know, and it's like, where's their mom? Where are these babies? And it makes me sad. And it's just this whole combination of like, she's still not back. And then him lying to me. And I'm just like, I just felt like I needed to talk to you guys and tell you guys, like, I'm concerned. I'll help you any way that you guys need help.
You can't trust secondhand information from a peddler of lies.
%100%. That's the only true thing he's said, and he's talking about himself.
So we know how he manipulated that audio. I didn't want to give him any more publicity, I guess, by putting in that actual garbage that somebody, you know, clearly manipulated and spliced together. But it is on his channel. We know exactly, you know, what he tried to do with that. Where's my mom? Get the hell out of here.
It's hideous. It's absolutely hideous. You know, and then he says you can't trust a peddler of second-hand lies.
You can't trust second-hand information from a peddler of lies.
Exactly. You know, I mean, he says it himself, doesn't he? You know, I mean.
Well, that's what makes it so easy with him. Is, I mean, everybody knows I love nothing more than throwing his own words right back in his face, down his throat. And I mean, he literally is a walking, talking contradiction.
Yep. And the other one that it wasn't him that manipulated it. The Chris Watts.
The Kim Kaufman audio.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was done by someone called Crafton and Kim.
Yeah. It was done as a parody. Crafton actually did it as a parody. And I guess when he put it out originally, that was out. He put that out like about a year, just over a year ago. And those that don't know Crafton, that is the kind of guy that he is. And I guess when he put it out, it obviously caused a bit of confusion. Now, I know Truth Justice, I actually had played on one of my streams, the one that I did that talked about the faking of the Majestic audio. But anyways, at that time, too, I played Truth Justice's video where she shows screenshots from Crafton, you know, clarifying that it was just a parody. She played the original Kim Kaufman one. But yeah, he's using it as a manipulation tool, you know, to make people think that he's all that in a bag of chips. He's really just a metadata expert.
And yeah, Jan, you'll be addressing that as far as the law goes.
Oh yes.
Right?
Oh yes.
Yes,
definitely.
there's lots of that.
Yeah.
So Jen, what is the we've now resolved the fact that his claim about where's my mom is wrong because that was never sent, it was added. I just want to add something else which we can't actually do today, but I do have screenshots of the actual woman on the driveway that was fake. And I've been sent the actual video screenshots that were shown and proven to be fake. So We'll deal with that some other time. But what was the next issue, Jen? Seeing as you know everything and I don't.
Well, I only know it because you gave me the list, darling. So if you didn't give me a list, I'd be sitting here with you. We'd be twiddling our thumbs. Was acknowledging the never before seen footage that, let me now, might I remind you, so this was his exclusive never before seen footage of those beautiful little girls on the trampoline in North Carolina. Now, his never before seen footage that he actually did show, he did a 2-hour live stream, and I have the link. I did my video that I did about this. He did a live stream on April 18th for 2 hours. Now, at that point, now he also put it out in a video the next day that TJ, True Justice, put in her video. That was like, I guess, a trailer. He showed the footage there, but he showed it on the 18th for 2 hours. He had that girl that used to be in contact with Chris, Shannon. Remember Shannon?
Mm.
So at that time, so this is how much I mean, of course, he can't use the, he didn't know that the footage was public because he's used it himself. So on April 18th, with Shannon on the show, he used it as then, at that time, over 2 years ago, exclusive never before seen footage sent to Shannon by Cindy Watts directly to prove that AD's camp has contact with the family, with the Watts family. Now, fast forward to earlier, was it this week or last week, when he showed the never before seen footage, he said it was sent to him anonymously.
Yep. Yeah, he's fond of doing that. It's exactly the same with his stupid flower pot theory.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Nicole was supposed to be keeping the girls occupied by teaching them to paint on terracotta plant pots. Sandy herself debunked that straight away, showed them in her own kitchen, and they were
Footprints.
paint imprints
Yep.
of Bella and Cece's tiny little feet when they were babies. And
You know, that's what
Shanann had done that.
Sorry.
He was outed on that, so he knew that was definitely a lie, yet he came out and repeated it again, even knowing that we've got that.
He took both of those videos down. I remember when Sandy came out and explained exactly what it was. He had done a YouTube stream and a Patreon stream, and he immediately took both of those down. Now, that's something else. So, oh, well, there's so much about him, but it's just, you can tell this man is so vicious, and he is so intentionally trying to instill as much pain and inflict as much pain as he can on that family. He has resorted to attempting to try to take every happy memory that is out there on the, I mean, I know that will never, change the memories that Frankie and Sandy and Frank have, but he is trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? He's basically trying to destroy any happy, wonderful memory they have and turn it into something dark and sinister.
Yes. I said yesterday in a post in No Hate that he reminds me of a really, really horrible, nasty, extremely old, senile lady who has about 20 cats and deliberately punctures children's footballs as they come out into his non-existent garden out of spite, peering through the nets. And if he didn't have the internet, he would be doing what he's doing now by anonymous letter to people or twisted anonymous phone calls, because his hate and venom are off the charts. But when I explain to you later, you will probably understand why. And the only way that we can solve this is to support Frankie in his legal action. He's got a very good case. There is no way that he's going to lose any of that. And plus the evidence that we have of all the potential criminal acts that he has breached, in the UK. It's mind-boggling. The man is just sheer poison, sheer poison, and how the family put up with that on a daily basis, it's beyond me. I mean, it's not normal, rational thinking, is it? And he's got that buzzword that he's an empath.
No,
Excuse me, Lizzie. Empath my ass.
that's about the
Yeah.
funniest joke he's ever told, right there.
Yeah. And I totally agree. Those that video was great, Jen.
Well,
It called him out.
I think too that, oh yeah, you know what I will say? That was my fastest debunk on him ever. I had that video together and out before he was even done his live stream.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but the thing, I don't know if I'm going to explain this properly, but the vindictiveness, as you said, yes, he does. He comes off across. I know it's not the best comparison, but as a comparison and an analogy, he's like that bitter, friggin' jealous wife that's been dumped for a mistress. He honestly, in his head, he believes every single penny belongs to him. Everything Watts, he believes belongs to him. Any ounce of money that can be made belongs to him. And he sees the family as getting in the way and blocking him from making that money. He doesn't, rules, regulations, they don't apply to him. He can damn well do whatever he likes. And the fact that the family does call him out very vocally, he resents that so much. So he comes back at them harder and harder. I mean, I'm sure that's only just a minimal part of it, but you can see how he talks about other people, other people making money. It's almost like he resents the fact that anybody else other than him dares to make a penny off that case.
Well, he even makes up about us making money. There's that on the in the true crime community, as we kind of are, the so-called haters, none of us make money. There are some people that have monetized, but they're not really in this part of the community. We do not make any money whatsoever, never have. And this is what he tells his subs, that we live off him.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
Where in actual fact he's been shadow banned really by YouTube. If you search for him under Armchair Detective, it will bring up loads of other stuff, before he even shows.
Well, I think he's trying to manipulate the algorithm over the last couple days. Over the last couple days, if you do a search for him, he started releasing, or not releasing, unprivating streams that he's had private for a long time. Like if you go right now to his blue channel and look under videos, you'll see like 2 from the last couple days, and then there's 2 that were streamed from a year ago.
Yep, he's putting them all on that. I've just noticed Michael's comment. Yeah, I will definitely say there was no red car at all. It doesn't exist.
he was
and there wasn't
debunked on
room
that.
for it. Yet he's having a live right now, tonight, about the red car.
He
But
was
he's going to
debunked
scream
by
and sue.
Dr. B on that live, on the red car.
Yeah.
Well, you do know, guys. Come on, we all know the truth, and the truth of the matter is, the only reason mainstream media has never discussed the red car is because he will copyright strike them if they do.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. I'm actually trying to count how many copyright strikes he's received, because to my knowledge, in the last 6 weeks alone, he's had two programs taken down for playing them.
Actually, just to be clear, I just wanted to I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to clear up. There seems to be some confusion. So when you see him streaming live, and all of a sudden you see that stream unavailable due to policy, what is it? Policy. Oh,
Violations.
violation. Thank you. So when you see that, and all of a sudden his stream stops, and it says stream unavailable due to policy violation, he actually does not receive a copyright strike on his channel. What's happening with those is in this case, whatever he's like, well, the BBC stuff he was showing. Companies like BBC, they pay YouTube a lot of money, and what they do is they create what's called content ID bots, and these bots basically scan YouTube all the time for whatever the content is that they've been programmed to look for. And what happens is while he's streaming, these, I don't know what the duration, how often they scan, but we'll say it's every 2 minutes. So every 2 minutes, 24 hours a day, these content bots are scanning. Well, here's Alan playing, Greedy Guts McGee playing that content, and the bot catches it. What happens is it automatically stops the stream live. You receive an email. Basically, as long as you stop playing the offending content, your live stream will then come back. But what you have to do is you have to cut it out after. Once your stream is done, that stream will become blocked and you have to cut out that content. So it doesn't actually result in an actual one of the 3 strikes that could take his channel down. It's just a claim, which basically is, it's not the same thing. So I just don't want people thinking, oh my God, he's sitting on 2 strikes. That's not the case at all.
I'm glad you clarified that because I didn't realize that.
And I only know that from obviously, being a creator. But now, if he doesn't do anything with that, if he were just for hypothetically speaking, playing copyright stuff and he keeps playing it through his stream, eventually that stream will get taken down. He may end up with a strike, but that's if, right, he refuses to stop playing it kind of thing. But there's a difference between a copyright claim and an actual copyright strike.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
And there's, sorry,
go on.
Jen.
No, go on.
There was, before I forget, because I'm getting really bad at forgetting. Don't forget, or you won't forget, Jen, I want to see those trampoline comments where the control. But before I do, there is something that a lot of people don't understand regarding his sub counts.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Lady Lucan and she's like, cluck, cluck, everyone.
Oh, is he doesn't get subs because they're watching him and they like him. The majority of his subs come from his library of videos, which he frantically, after demonetization, put out, or actually maybe before, put out. So he's got something like 1,500 in his library. So anyone that clicks on any one of those videos and decides they want to sub, that's all it is. It's not because they love him or whatever. They just want more information on that topic. And so the sub count is going to be there. Even if he did nothing, he would get subs because they look at his videos from way back anytime and just sub to that. And he hasn't bought or added any subs for about a year and a half. I have the actual dates and times and amounts that he actually added. I don't know that he bought them. I can't claim he bought them. We don't know. There's other ways of gaining subs. But that only happened back in 2020, I think, January 2020. And there was about 5,000 subs that were added over the course of that time. I have the date and time that they were added. And since then, the sub count kind of looks awkward to other people because it goes up and down 100, but just because it goes up to the next 100 doesn't mean, and then back down again. It could only be 2 or 3 subs. Like if he gets to 101 and he loses 2, then it will go back down to the previous 100. So it's very deceiving. And
I've never claimed to be good at math. I actually really suck at math, but I can tell you that without a doubt, the fact that him and his 72,000 subs on YouTube versus the 20 that he gets in Patreon, that math doesn't add up to me at all.
They're pretty much all. I mean, I'm subbed to about 300-400 different channels. I mean, I'd never, ever, ever, ever go to them. And he got 30,000 subs back in January to April of 2019. And probably, and he's even said it himself, probably most of those don't even watch him anymore, but he just uses them because it looks good. And he's probably got somewhere in the region of 5,000 kind of people that are in and out, plus new ones come and new ones go, because we can see by their comments, and there's a lead up to that one, Jen, where when he did the trampoline video, I mean, it was so awful. He was claiming it was control, and Shanann was controlling. And
while using it to gain patrons at the end of the month too, he had many avenues he was using that footage for, and they were all hilarious.
Yeah, and every single comment under that video was negative towards him. I think maybe there was one, but that's the lead up, because I think you've got the video of that. Have you, Jen?
Yeah.
Jason?
So what I did here, guys, is I went to the. So it wasn't enough that he showed the never before seen footage that was really seen before by him in April of 2020. Wasn't enough that he did a long YouTube stream about it. Then he took it to his Save Haven of Patreon. That wasn't enough, guys. He then had to put out a 2-minute video of just that footage. Now, what I did is I went to that video where he put out just the footage itself. I know a lot of the comments have been removed, but you'll see I did a video screen recording of it. So here we go.
speechless.
Yeah,
Absolutely speechless.
they're learning, aren't they? That's one good thing.
At
And there
least
was
they are
more.
speaking out.
There was a lot more. That actually, when I just recorded that, screen recorded that, I think yesterday or the day before. There was 54 comments in total. There was a hell of a lot more than that before. And again, they were all the same, saying that they didn't see anything controlling.
Yeah, I got the original that day screenshot, and just about everyone was saying there's no control. It's just whatever. But you know what? It's we've got through an hour, and I'm wondering, unless there's any more, Jen,
Well,
that you.
I mean, it's up to you. I do have Val put a video out. Truth be told, put a video out yesterday or the day before. I hope she doesn't mind because it's too late. I already did. I took the end of it. She actually has other comments that were not under this video that I wouldn't mind showing, actually.
Okay, that would be great.
All right, here we go, guys.
Yeah, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And
But happy flipping hallelujah. Some of them are waking up and speaking out. You know, Michael posted some of those. He always puts sub comments
Yeah.
at the end of his, and they are so brilliant. And normally, you know, they're just, oh, I love you. Oh, I think you're very handsome.
Oh!
Yeah, I know. But this
I'll tell you
time,
what, if I wasn't already a lesbian, that would be enough to make me one.
no.
Well, it's true.
Oh dear God, yeah, it doesn't bear thinking about. But I don't want to know what glasses they're wearing and what they're
The
drinking.
crooked ones like him and the ones that are like what's his vodka sits in. My God, he's
Definitely.
real
Uh,
attractive there with his crooked glasses half cocked and his eyebrow trying to run away. God damn.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just he's appalling, but it all goes on to what I'm going to come on to say.
Yes, and if
Um,
you would, Jan, I think
Certainly.
it's time
Yep.
that you
Yep.
explained. We originally started with the Fundley, and you asked him for receipts
Yep.
because there is no reason he shouldn't be able to give receipts. So I'll let you continue and explain everything that you know, which is absolutely amazing.
Right. The first half is going to be about the fundraising and clearing up certain misconceptions as well, so that you all understand clearly what is a donation, what has been sequestered from vulnerable people. There's a difference. Then I want to go on and talk about mental health, but in a very particular way. Um, I'm not going to name who I'm talking about, but we'll get on to that in a moment. Um, I did challenge him to come forward not only with all the receipts for his Fundly money, but for the GoFundMe that he originally had to raise money for lupus and for um, Nicole Atkinson when she was poorly. And Nicole Atkinson didn't know anything about it, and certainly hasn't received any money at all. So I would be interested if anybody remembers that or has any sort of video evidence that might where he's discussing that. There have been other things where he has manipulated, um, you know, manipulated people by hinting that he needs money. The one where he needed to move to a house with a garden for Winston to run about in. Well, I don't know. Winston's disappeared anyway.
No, there's been a sighting. We found him. He's not
Oh,
with. Yes.
oh,
So yeah, I did a community post a couple days ago. Everybody can breathe a collective sigh of relief. There has been a Winston spotting. He is happy. Looks really happy, but it wasn't with him.
good. That's why the dog's happy, because he's never happy when he's with him. But he got people very ingeniously and disingenuously to donate money to help him move home. The place that he has moved to, one of his own subs actually doxed him, but he blamed Martin, and it wasn't Martin. But it's very
Well,
clear
first of
that,
all, being in a public park.
yep, that's it. Exactly. But the place where he's moved into is not new. It doesn't have any sort of a garden for Winston, which was the point. And looking back on the company house records, if you go far enough and dig deep enough, you will find that that property that he's moved into has been owned by various members of the family, including himself and some of his other partners outside of YouTube. Um, so he's actually moved from one bedsit into a dingy basement. that is in his name. So
Can I just ask, Jan? I'm sorry, I had to go outside. I've got a little man on my roof. But
Okay.
yeah, we won't dig into that.
No. Just a tad curious, though. What are you doing?
yeah, it's quite all right. I think he's fitting cameras up, you know.
Oh,
You don't know what he's doing up there?
No, but he's a very nice man. So, what I wanted to know, Jan, do we have absolute proof? I don't mean to expose the location he's at, but do we have absolute proof that the place that you're talking about is actually where he is currently residing?
yes, yes.
Okay, now
The
that
address.
is not from Company's House or anything like that, right?
Yep, the address is actually listed on Company's House because
Sure
of the
is.
very many bankruptcies he's done. I mean that
Address goes
But
way
is
back,
that
too,
does that mean he's actually there currently? Is I know that there is the address
yes,
that he's been at for prior to when he went to the other place, and that's that address. And then he went somewhere else.
that
It
is
still
the
showed that address. That was the thing, even
mm,
though he was living elsewhere.
yeah,
I'm
and that
sorry. I
is
just want to make sure that
yeah.
what we're saying is absolutely
Oh,
correct.
oh,
Without,
believe you me, I'm not going to say anything that isn't actually correct because my I'm not leaving myself open to a lawsuit or planning to crash anybody else's investigations that are going on.
okay, so
But
apart from Company's House, you have actual proof of
that
his current
he
living
yeah,
place.
he's actually lied. He hasn't changed his address on Company's House, which he has a
Oh,
duty to do
I was going to say
under the Companies Act.
yeah.
So that is actually a breach of UK law under the Companies Act. There's more than enough evidence to say from his own mouth that he lives there
He
as
seems
well.
to have moved locations in the past couple of months.
I have a
That's,
feeling that what's been happening is that there have been a lot of weekend and odd evening tournaments of poker, which have involved hotel stays, but there have also been periods where he's stayed with different family members.
And if you
Uh,
notice, I'm sure you probably have, I know Lizzie has, over the last, what, at least month. If you notice, when we see he's at home with the gaming chair, it's usually only for one night, maybe two at most, and then he's gone again somewhere.
yeah, and
yeah, I just have questions because I'm sorry. I think
no,
everybody
no.
knows me.
Mm.
I really absolutely personally, unless I know myself, I personally look for proof of everything, facts, you know. So if I question anything, it's not going against you,
No, I know.
just
I know.
make
No.
sure that
Oh,
I will check it out and confirm it for myself.
oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, but
You are.
that's
No, you are.
you know me.
You are 100%. You know, I totally am with you. I mean, obviously, with my qualifications, just in the law, I'm not going to leave myself open
Yeah.
um, to anything that may not be true that could be thrown. Plus, it's just if you lie about him, you are shooting yourself in the foot because
Absolutely.
you
And let's
know,
not forget that we haven't seen Winston in about 2 to 3 months.
yeah, he is
But there's a
back. But
picture of him recent that where he's very happy, the happiest I've ever seen him. So
mm,
the dog's fine.
Yeah, he has been seen, but not on his channel. Even though for a little while he was faking the fact of, oh yeah, Winston's there sleeping. He's looking in different areas, and this is why I
Yeah,
question
yeah.
where he is actually staying. Even though he's at inverted commas home,
mm,
he's at one point, if when he first moved quite a while ago, he was looking to the right, to his right, because Winston was supposedly in the garden. And now he's looking at different places. He's on the sofa. And ultimately, that is not an issue. That's just a curiosity. But what you are saying, Jan, is where it becomes an issue. And that's why, you know, it is important if there's issues about where he's living and what he's getting money for.
Well, at that time when he was encouraging the funding to come forward, he was stating that he wanted to move, and then this move took place. He was as mad as hell because he blamed Martin, but it wasn't Martin that doxed him. As I said, it was a sub who saw him in a park and recognised it.
That's right. That's right.
But the address that he moved into at that point, and he told everybody had a lovely garden, blah, 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 didn't. If he's not there now and moved on, it doesn't matter. But the very fact that he said that he moved into that property, described it, acknowledged the photographs of it on one of his streams, he's admitting that that was the property that he moved into, and at that time it was definitely in whether a family, or he has a couple of other partners outside of YouTube.
But he has been moving around a lot. So basically, that is just a curiosity.
It is a
For
curiosity.
some reason, he doesn't seem to want to stay in the same place for very long. I can't figure out why.
I can tell you the likely reason for that is...
Oh, I was being very facetious.
The likely reason is that he is expecting a notification at any time, if he hasn't already got it, from our Frankie Jr., from the High Court, to drag him to court, and he's trying to avoid service.
They can't sue me if they don't serve me.
Exactly. Well,
Guess why you're going to find out the hard way.
Yes, he's going to find out the hard way, because High Court bailiffs do not piss around. I can tell you that now.
I can't see him running very fast either with his two really bad knees either. So,
and his wig blowing in the air, you know,
and his glasses all crooked.
Oh dear God! Just the thought.
What a catch! Hey, what a catch! I would love to have even 20 minutes to have a conversation with just one of his ex-wives.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was now I don't know this as fact. I've only been told it, but apparently he has a son who he's not allowed to see, because although he's been deemed to pay child support, he has not paid a penny for them. So, but I can't confirm that. I am stating that now. That is slightly gossip.
I guess it wouldn't make him look very good as the world's leading metadata expert asking for his subs to solicit his child support payments. Kind of takes away from the whole, you know, he's the world's greatest thing demeanor.
Yeah,
the one who takes a Sherlock Holmes game for 5-year-olds, and he can't do it. He doesn't know how to work it.
Yeah. Well, he couldn't read the instructions, could he? Because he can't read or write properly.
He doesn't know his own name at times. Armchair detective, no hiding street.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. When I do get a random free moment, I will draw up a dictionary of AD-isms.
Yeah,
he's
quite a few.
completely.
I think we should put that out and sell it. Give all the proceeds to the fund. That would be a bestseller.
Exactly.
So, Jan.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible to go over what you consider is fraud, or actually a criminal issue. Now, I
Yes.
know there's a big issue with the fact that he's using that Crafton piece of tape on his live
Yep.
to to get everybody to believe, even though he admits it's not true. But
Yeah.
the
No, but
fact
he
is, it
manipulates.
brings people in
He
believing it
works
to be true.
everything together, though. If you've noticed, he's not only, and that stupid thing plays as soon as you go to his page, that intro plays, but he's also, not only has he taken and manipulated, or whoever, it certainly wasn't him, whoever from his camp, Bubbles, Noah, manipulated, put that together, but on top of that, then he's also intertwined in that false narrative he's trying to put out with the Dr. Phil footage from 2020. Right? He works that all together as one, so it gives off that perception of confusion.
Mm. Well, basically, it is fraud by misrepresentation,
Yep.
obtaining a pecuniary advantage. If you raise money by direct appeal and state that it is for a certain purpose, a defined purpose, and people pay into that, legally, you have a fiduciary duty under the law to prove that that money has gone to the agencies that it was raised for. So AD or Bubbles or whoever was,
Cluck,
you
cluck,
know,
head.
yeah, Cluck Cluck and all the others, they need to be coming up with receipts to prove that they paid the Lupus Foundation, that they paid Nicole Atkinson the money that was raised in the very first GoFundMe, because that's what set off all the Penelope Jones angst, because she said it wasn't a wise thing to have him in charge of money. And that's when he sent his trolls over and made the lady very ill. But that's another story. The Fundley, he has expressly said that that is designed for his legal fund. It is for his defence against any lawsuit that Frankie will bring up. Now, if you can't tell when he's taken out money because the main total doesn't go down, but basically, we want to know A, if he's taken out money, and B, has he paid that directly to a solicitor for legal advice? And I can tell you the answer to that. As
It's
for the
been gambled
legal,
away long
yeah,
ago.
oh yeah, but as for the legal advice, I think it was 1 hour, and that was paid on Bubbles' credit card, I do believe. Um,
Actually, there's
and
a couple. There was a couple. I
yeah,
actually have, because if you remember as well, Iva had been put in charge of being the
oh, I know,
treasurer,
yeah,
and she put out a video that had a completely different receipt. So
yeah, yeah. So
if you, oh,
basically,
sorry, if you need all that stuff, I can get that to you. Sorry, as an off note.
yeah, oh, that's excellent. Yeah. So basically, if he's not paid that to ask for counsel, which in this country is a barrister via a solicitor. Um, yep, there we go, Carol. Thank you for confirming that. Yes, he pocketed the money and went to a casino. Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm glad you remembered that, because some people, it was a long time ago. But oh, I've lost myself. but it happens quite frequently. Don't
It
worry.
does to me. And can I? There's two things I just want to interject with.
Yes, yes.
Is rest in peace, Abby. We miss Abby so much.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
apparently it's nearly a year in
Oh,
4
wow.
days.
That has
But
gone so quick.
It'll be a year on Friday.
Yeah, Abby was special.
She
really
was.
was.
She was
Yeah.
a really lovely lady. But
The other, excuse me, interrupting here, because I occasionally have to go out and check out my little man on the roof.
oh, right.
So
She's
sometimes
going
I-
to get a look at his bum because he's up on the roof there. Come on now, this is Lizzie we're talking about.
yeah, and it's something I was thinking of, that when that issue with the Crafton video is played constantly, I watched a Sex on Earth commentary on it.
Yep.
From what I can make out, she is suggesting not only about, I don't know, about fraud, criminal, whatever, and she explained it all. It was absolutely
Yes.
great. But she also explained that anybody who knowingly supports him via Patreon or whatever, they could also be held culpable too.
100% correct.
And yeah, Nicole, thanks. I remembered it, and then you did it. You must have read my mind and put words for me. But yeah, if that's the case, anybody that joins his Patreon, if they ever hear from us that we have exposed his lies, they are culpable. They have enabled him, and they could be held responsible for that. So be careful who you support.
Oh, definitely.
I'm going to check my little man. Hang on.
It's checking facts. And I'll come on to the documentary stroke book money very shortly. But yes, he's actually committing by using that fake introduction, despite his disclaimer that he isn't, that it's not real. He's actually guilty under the Fraud Act. In fact, I have to say that under the UK Fraud Act of 2006, which has had some updates through common law, but not terribly many, he's certainly guilty of fraud by false representation. Every single time he has lied, with the outcome of getting money, that is false representation under the Fraud Act. Fraud by abuse of position, which is Section 4. And that is because he's in a position of trust over the money that he raised, but also, what he's encouraged people to pass over. Right, I will read you. Let me see. This is just a Fraud Act, and we're talking at least, God, 8. No, how many sections has it got? Yeah, right up to section 11. He's basically breached every single act of under the Fraud Act, every sub act under it as well.
If you're gonna break the rules, might as well break them all.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. This is one for him. Yeah. Section 7 of the Fraud Act, making or supplying articles for use in frauds. Okay. Now, if you're thinking about that altered Dr. Chris Watts statement, Section 7, subsection 1 A person is guilty of an offence if he makes, adapts, supplies, or offers to supply any article, A, knowing that it is designed or adapted for use in the course of or in connection with fraud, or B, intending it to be used to commit or assist in the commission of fraud. So every time he plays that and he's lying in his stream to get money, he is potentially breaching that act. And that is a prisonable offence. All of these are prisonable offences that I'm going to tell you about.
Sorry, did you just say that they're all What did you just say? Can you repeat that?
The Chris Watts, every time he plays that Chris Watts.
No. I heard that, but what you said you were going to explain everything you're going to explain is prisonable. Is that what you just said?
Yeah. If under the Fraud Act, the penalty, depending on how many offences he admits to, or they decide they can prove to charge him with, or he goes in front of the judge, just breaching one section of the Fraud Act gives you up to 1 year. And remember, this is just 1 year in prison, a fine, or both. Okay? So you think he's committed every single section of the Fraud Act many times over, with all the evidence coming from his own mouth. So you add up 17. If he gets, I mean, obviously we're very bad in that we only let them serve, I think, a third of their sentence, which is ridiculous. So just on the Fraud Act, every time he has lied for money, he's basically committed fraud. All of those videos and the stuff that's all been debunked that he knows is there. That's all fraud.
I don't know if you can see. I just pinned Truth Justice's comment. She said we won't be hearing that little intro anymore. I suspect she's probably right. It's probably going to get changed real soon.
Oh, well done, Truth Justice. Well done. So, I mean, that is just the Fraud Act. Now, if we come on to the Criminal Justice Acts,
Yikes.
yeah, that's 1988, Part 2, Section 27. Anything that he has produced document-wise, be it video or letter, the court can look at it under the rules of evidence and decide whether it will or will not be included or excluded from the case. So basically, every little letter that he's sent out, pretending to be from other people, that is evidence against him. And that comes under also the Forgery and Counterfeiting Act of 1981, which, believe it or not, says that if you produce, I mean, it's mainly, the first part is mainly about counterfeit money, but it also now applies to counterfeit letters that may have been drawn up on that, is it the Woofu site? Anything that was done under that. Basically,
the Chris Watts letters that he had hundreds of letters he was going into Patreon with, and he finally, because people were rioting against him, produced one flippin' letter.
Yeah. Well, that is a definite lie, but that's backfired on him. But if he is sending out cease and desists, either from using a genuine solicitor's heading that he's nicked, or from that site, he is actually committing forgery and counterfeiting under the Act of
Uh,
1981. And
I'll wait for my reply, Alan, to the cease and desist that I sent on October 18th. Still crickets on the reply.
no, no, you won't. You won't get one
I
because
know I won't. It'd
mm,
be nice though to have the acknowledgement. Like
oh
savage.
yeah, yeah. And it even goes into what they consider to be a false instrument document, and the meanings of prejudice and inducing. So basically, if you receive a letter that you rely on to your detriment and it's fake, then he has, or whoever's written it has committed a fraud under the Forgery and Counterfeiting Act, which is not a good one. Forgery is, this is the definition. A person is guilty of forgery if he makes a false instrument, that's a legal term for paper, statement, whatever, with the intention that he or another shall use it to induce somebody to accept it as genuine, and by reason of so accepting it, do or do not do some act to his own or any other person's prejudice, which that's statutes love to go in legalese, but basically, if he produces something that someone has relied on to their detriment, um, that's forgery, and that comes under the Forgery and Counterfeiting Act. There's also the Solicitors Act 1974. If you get any letters from him where he has pinched, shall we say, or anybody else has used an official solicitor's heading note, um, as as a template, or use that site, um, it they're basically, if they're pretending to be a solicitor, they are committing a criminal act under the Solicitors Act 1974.
Oh, and there was logos. That law firm's logos were all over that thing.
Yeah, well, that is definitely that is. I wouldn't mind having some copies of that, Jen. Actually,
Yeah, sure.
it is. Let me see. Um, No unqualified person is to act as a solicitor. Anyone who convenes subsection 1 is guilty of an offence and liable on conviction or indictment to imprison for not more than 2 years, a fine, or both. So is that there's a possibility there. An unqualified person can't pretend to be a solicitor. That carries the same. It also goes into unqualified solicitor people preparing certain instruments, which means legal documents or arguings or pleadings. That's illegal too, unless they are covered under a proper solicitor's certificate. But they can't, uh, believe it or not, prepare documents for probate and pretend they're a solicitor, which is a bit odd. But you basically, he's done that. We come on to the Data Protection Act.
Mm.
Yes,
Which
remember
for me is
when
that it goes international too, right? Because my details went across the friggin' from one side of the world to the other.
exactly
Oh,
he
like Frankie as well. I mean, anybody on this side
yeah.
like that got that.
Any, I remember when he went, it was either to Vimeo or Crowdcast, he expected not only to get people's bank details But he also asked for photo ID of a driving license, something like
Oh,
that. Yes, and basically he's got all that stored, and you know what can be used um, for that. So he has not got the right to have kept any private information, which is why you never pay someone directly. You always use a reputable platform like PayPal. Don't just send someone money and send them your ID. You are asking to be robbed. You're asking to have
yeah.
your identification stolen.
Well, not just that, but and this is just I'm speaking for myself and my speculation, and I've said this before. I
Yeah.
think he's taking those details and he's selling them off. That's why that petition, that failed petition
Yes,
for the Chris Watts photos that he never had taken down is still up.
it's still
What
up.
almost 4 years? It's data mining. That's
Yep.
exactly what he's doing.
100%. And then you can move on to the Theft Act. And these are just a few, guys. I mean, we have we have hundreds and hundreds of statutes here. Statutes are laws that come down through Parliament. They go up to the Lords for discussion, and then they come down again to Parliament to be ratified. When you're talking about the common law, you're talking about cases that have been brought either from, um, well, you know, a tortious act like harassment. I mean, there's the Harassment Act that gives Frankie a double whammy because not only if AD is found guilty of harassing the family, not only can they get monetary compensation, they will be they can get an injunction against him, and if he breaks that injunction, he will find himself in criminal court. And harassment itself has its own act, and he can be charged with, harassment under the actual statute as well. So Frankie's cases are common law because he's basically used coming up with his own arguments under the law. But there are statutes there that are backing him all the way. But there are also other statutes that, cover what we are interested in. And that is exactly what has he been up to and what he should be investigated for.
I
And
love
we'll
your way of
Jan,
saying
can I,
that. His
Jan,
owner.
can I just butt in for a sec?
yeah, sure.
I'm not sure if you know about this case, but I put it in No Hate. It
Mm,
was a portion of Sex on Earth where she was
yes.
explaining. I can't remember all the details, but basically, it was a chap who had done similar to what is happening here.
Yep.
And it took several years,
Mm,
but he was finally put in jail. And this chap was, I think, about 80 something.
yeah. Basically,
And he lived close by to where the other one lives.
the courts will not mess about, especially with the changes coming in about policing YouTube, Facebook, all of this. The courts are not going to mess about. He might get fined the first time he breaks it. He might get a warning, but keep breaking it, and he will be sitting in a lovely cell, trying not to drop the soap in the communal shower, if you grab my meaning. But
We'd rather not. We'd rather not. Thank you.
well, don't grab my meanings, please. It sounds a bit painful. But yeah, I mean, the Theft Act I could go on forever, but his deceptions include not only asking for people for money with a special reason and not using it for that reason. That's theft and fraud as well. But what you do have to be careful is if, say, one of his gullible subs decides to, oh, let's hold a fundraiser for AD. When he lost his suitcase, he lost all those things. Now, they didn't know it was a false claim, and he got all his stuff bought and given. But
He
I
milked
understand.
that for a week, a full
Yeah.
week. He milked that.
And people sent him stuff, but he didn't actually ask them to. Someone else suggested it. Now, if that happens, you've got to draw the line between what is a donation, a voluntary donation, which is not illegal, and what is him being deceptive. And really, it would come down, if you looked across his 4-year history just here, you're looking at lots of implied deceptions dropped here and there that people have picked up and run with. They may not have been, they may have been donations, but at the same time, the history over the 4 years, over what he's said about the situation, he may not have asked for money, but if he's implying or telling people how poor he is, which we know he does every day, um, that can actually be taken into account. The police can investigate all of these. Now, I do happen to, there are some things I can't talk about. There are some things going on in the background which I will certainly share with you as soon as we get we know what's happening. But basically, when I go and meet with our finest CID here, I'm going to be raising all these other cases that I've talked to you about with the
What's a
videos.
CID for us people over on this?
Criminal Investigation Department,
Gotcha.
detective.
Okay, Jan,
Mm.
could you make it clear about, I think a lot of people look at the court case and think that encompasses everything,
No,
which of course it doesn't. That
no,
is purely for the Ruzek family
yeah,
and what he's done against them.
yeah,
Alternatively, there is another issue with what you are dealing with,
yeah,
highlighting all his basic online fraud and criminal activity, which
yeah,
you will be, as you just said, talking to CID. But I believe there is a further issue,
yes,
which is not discussed, will not be discussed, but is ongoing. So there's basically three levels, three
yes,
different uh, issues that we're talking about here. So
yeah,
this issue with you is totally separate to Frankie's
yeah.
court case and the other one that's going on behind the scenes.
100%. Frankie's court case is separate, and if he gets, he will win. He's got more than enough evidence to take that man down. But he also has, in his case, the backing of the Harassment Act, which is a criminal offence, to back him as well, should AD breach any injunction that he's been given. Now, there are investigations going on in other areas, which are being dealt with by the police, but I'm not at liberty to talk about those. But
And
it,
they can take some time. Is that correct, Jan?
yeah, yes. Unfortunately, the way that English law runs, first of all, you have your police investigation, and they're inundated. So it can take a while for them to get round to it and to find all the evidence, everything. Then it goes to what we have, the Crown Prosecution Service. And then they decide, looking through the evidence, whether there is enough criminality to charge him with those offences. And then you have a, a barrister for appointed. Barristers are a bit tricky because in this country, because they're in a league of their own and they can be employed by the defence, but equally the same person could be on a defence case one day and on a prosecution case the next, where he's fighting for the prosecution. So it's about it is complicated and time consuming. And so the investigations and the evidence gathering that they need, and they need to verify as well, takes a long, long time. But what hasn't helped in this situation is, unfortunately, the backlog has built up through the pandemic. Our courts just basically came to a standstill, and they are now just trying to clear the backlog, and it's the same with the police. So yes, things do take a long time, but please, please do not. Yeah, as Truth Justice said, it took years to get Bernie Madoff taken down. You know, it does take a long time. It does not happen overnight. And I know that Frankie will back me up by saying, confirming that his very own cases that he's taking to the English courts um, have, he's had to wait and wait and wait. But hopefully he's coming very close now to a good solution. But so, yeah, there are three different elements going on. You've got Frankie's case against AD personally, which is a civil case. You've got the other case that is criminal, that is being looked at by, it is being investigated. That's all I can say on that. But these ones that I'm talking about now, the monies that have been possibly misused or not used for what they were supposed to have been used, there's no receipts, etc., etc. Any of the ones where he's asked for money to come in and not spent it on that purpose, those are the ones that I am going to take to the police at the end of this month. I have a meeting arranged. Yeah.
So I guess that answers CanSpan's question that he had, asking if you, if with your
Yes.
info, if you turned it over to the proper UK
Oh,
authorities.
yes. Yeah. Yes, definitely. I'm still, the reason why I have got a date booked with our finest plod over here, and I'm still gathering little and waiting for little bits of information and evidence to come in. But you've also got to bear in mind what is evidence, what falls under evidence under the law of evidence and what doesn't. But I'm just going to gather what I've got to everything, and I've got quite a lot, and it will be going to the police. And yes, the documentary money. Truth be told, he should not have spent the book money or any of that money at
He
all.
didn't even use that money on the goddamn book. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, basically, I mean, Nicole's really expressed it very well, talking about, how you self-publish a book. There is no way he's lost £17,000 through book sales because of the Rusex.
Well, he admits himself on his Fundly page that the publisher gave him the money back in his own
Yes,
words.
yes, exactly. They couldn't possibly affect the sales. The fact that he brought, well, my poor old grandson at the weekend, he came out in um, chicken pox, and you could draw dot to dot on him. Um,
Yeah, sorry.
AD, the amount of evidence that AD has got to say that his book would have been a wow sellable pamphlet, making him a very rich man. He's got more chance of doing a dot to dot on my grandson than selling one of those books to anyone with a brain.
Fern makes a good
And
point too. There's also the outstanding hardbacks that nobody ever got, the autograph
yep,
book.
I'm coming on to that. What I basically, the money that was given over for the books and the documentary, if the person didn't make it clear when they gave it over what element it was for, there could be some confusion over that. But it's very clear that the money that he had in, he didn't lose. It didn't cost him hardly anything at all to print that book. He did it himself, and if, well, um, I was just blown away at how bad it was, and to think he's putting a second one in is mind blowing. A pamphlet, yeah, unbelievable. But if you donated money to that, I can guarantee you that that money has not been spent correctly. But
It's been spent, but
yeah, exactly. But also, you've got to think, is Bubbles? Uh, does she have a hand in that? Was she dealing with the money? So that's a very hard one.
well,
Although,
if you recall, or maybe you don't know, that when they set up the Wisconsin Whispers, not the UK site, but the site,
yeah,
all of that is all registered in the US through GoDaddy.
yeah. Is the .co.uk registered in the US as well?
That's a good question. Give me a second and I'll let you know.
Yeah, I tell you what, I did do a reverse IP search, and I would be interested to find out
Well, you got to
who
just
the
do
actual
a
host
domain
is.
lookup. If you do the domain lookup, if I have a feeling, I know I did look this up. I'll do it right now. We've lost Lizzie, by the way. I don't know where she went, but I'm going to look that up. I have a feeling that if it was GoDaddy. So when I did the Who Is domain lookup for the regular Wisconsin Whispers,
Yeah,
whoever registered it, they obviously they didn't want to be known, so they've got it set up as GoDaddy is acting as the front person for any of the administrative information.
oh, right. Well, don't worry, because that will be
Exactly.
disappearing very soon indeed. I've just seen a couple of comments about Sax on Earth. She is brilliant. You need what she tells you is 100% correct. You can take her money to the bank and cash it. She knows what she's talking about, and she is she's brilliant. Let's just say. Um, very knowledgeable and knows her criminal law um, as well in terms of offences that people can be charged with. But yeah, Barnes and Noble flipping publishing his book. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, but the basically we I need a bit more evidence.
His book is going to be on
regarding
the shelves of Barnes and Noble. That lasted all of what, 2 days?
exactly, and there's he keeps saying that the Rusex brought his book down. They didn't. They didn't. It was a fact that he wrote a load of old tripe that was libelous, and no one would touch it with a barge pole. And at the end of the day, how do you sell a hardback pamphlet with including postage for nearly £100 English pounds? I mean, you've got to be insane.
I'm
But
sorry, I'm just laughing at the comments, Lady Logan. In Truth Justice, Hollywood directors lining up for his documentary
oh
with
yeah,
real actors.
real actors. Yeah, I mean, we can have him on the fact that he hasn't produced the documentary, but he can always. There are ways that he can deviate from that. Although we know what's gone on, it would be very, very hard to prove. What I would say to you is it doesn't matter who you pay, who asks you for money, whether you trust them or not. You know, an independent website like Wisconsin Whispers, do not use their payment gateway. You pay via something secure like PayPal. And if you're asked for money for a specific reason by someone on the internet, you make sure that you pay them by PayPal, preferably by credit card. That way, in there you will have a comment box, and in where you're making your comment, you need to put, I am providing this money expressly for the purpose of funding blah, no other reason. And that way, if it disappears and isn't spent where it should have been, not only do you have the chance of claiming it back through PayPal and having him face fraud charges with PayPal, you've also got your credit card guarantee and some debit cards now as well to rely on to get you your money back for a book that you've paid for that hasn't arrived.
You'll be pleased
Um,
to know the WisconsinWhispers.uk site. It's also registered out of the States too.
right, yeah. Well, we know who's
They
running
probably got
that.
a deal, for a register 3 sites with us and only pay for 2 kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. It makes sense. I did look into a bit of it, but I
I
couldn't
can
get
send
as
you all
far
that
as
stuff. I have all that technical stuff.
yeah,
Here, if you need that, I'll send that all to you.
yeah. That's great. What I would say, if you are in the UK and you feel that you have been defrauded, don't go to a well-meaning YouTuber, please. Please don't do that. Um, contact the online fraud, internet fraud site.
Is it action fraud?
Action fraud, yes.
I'll grab
The
the
F-
link, put it in the
yeah,
chat.
brilliant. The FBI also have one that covers America, and I believe that there is also one that covers Australia. Always report what your complaint to that body that applies to you.
So where
Um,
you live. So if I, let's say I'm in Canada, if I wanted to submit a report on Greedy Guts McGee, would I contact Action Fraud in the UK, or would I start by contacting that department, so to speak, in Canada,
my advice would be
or both?
preferably the UK site, or both actually,
Yeah.
because what happens is what they when they get reports coming in of certain people, they will be flagged, and every single complaint that comes in about that person will go to a team especially designated to look into those misdemeanors in the true sense of the word. They will look into everything. It is vitally important that you do that. Um, don't talk about it in public, online, or in the chat. What you are actually doing is ruining uh, any evidence potentially that the police could have used to go forward with it under the UK rules of evidence. It doesn't automatically do it, but it can do, and you. It's something that you shouldn't be talking about publicly because it doesn't do anybody any good, in general. I mean, because of what I'm doing, if there's anything that you want me to take to the police, then you are welcome to contact me. I'm more than happy to do that in confidence. But please, please, please make sure you report it to the relevant authorities first. Now, we're going to enter a territory. I'm just changing the subject. I mean, you can see there's lots and lots and lots that he's been up to. He's been a very naughty boy. But I would like, there's been some discussion in various groups and comments about mental health and the state of diagnose, diagnosing mental health. And I'd just like to speak on that for a few seconds. This isn't aimed at anyone, but you are welcome to think. What I want you to do is think who you know meets the criteria that I'm going to read to you. Basically, there is a test that was drawn up by Robert Hare, Dr. Robert Hare, many years ago. The updated list for seeing if someone was a sociopath or psychopath. It's called the Hare Gold Standard Test. You can't. A sociopath is mainly a sociopath because of their upbringing. It's not a genetic thing that is wrong with their brain. It's their upbringing, or they've just a bad egg.
And she means genetic with a G.
Sorry?
I said you mean genetic with a G.
Yes, I mean, genetic with a G. Sorry. Yes, it's all your fault, genetic. Yes, it's all your fault, Jen.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Whereas a psychopath has neuro problems. Their brain is not wired right. There is an initial test with questions, but each of these questions have other sub questions, and it's impossible to diagnose someone with psychopathy or sociopathy by just using this basic test or the DSM manual, which is the Bible of mental health that people rely on. You have to know everything about that person, about their relationships, about their growing up, about how they were as children, how they reacted. You need to talk to their family, and that's not just taking into mind the offence that they are being charged with or have been found guilty of, which is called the index offence at this moment. It's got to take into account all of the other behaviours. So there is an awful lot more. Okay, so I'm not giving you a full test because it's a lot more complicated. But I just wanted to read to you what is called the psychopathy checklist items, and these are the main ones. And don't worry if you recognize yourself on one,
Take
because
notes, everyone. Take notes.
yeah, take notes, get your notebooks out, please. School is in session. If you recognize yourself in one or two, don't worry, it's quite normal, okay? But the main headings that the investigation or the clinical diagnosis starts with is the person will have glibness or superficial charm, which means that they come across as very nice, but they couldn't really give a damn about you. They have a grandiose sense of self-worth, a need for stimulation, pathological lying, conning and manipulation, lack of remorse or guilt, shallow affect, which means, oh, I'm sorry for you, but I'm not really, I couldn't give a damn about you. Parasitic lifestyle. Does that ring bells? Do these ring bells to any of you so far? Poor behavioural controls, losing one's temper, promiscuous sexual behaviour, early behavioural problems when growing up, lack of realistic long term goals, impulsivity, uh, irresponsibility,
Oh my.
a failure to accept responsibility for one's own actions, many short term marital relationships,
Woo!
juvenile delinquency, revocation of conditional release, i.e., they've breached their parole and got called back in, and criminal versatility. Now, as I said, that is the top heading that you would look for, and if they have subheadings as well that you have of questions that you would ask and have answered along with all the other information, and you score it from 0 if it doesn't apply to them, to 1 if it's quite possible, but if it's really high on the scale there, you're talking 3. So basically, when you're sort of listening to all of this coming out of these channels, and I'm not just naming, not just thinking of one person here, I'm thinking about the delightful person in Australia, everybody else. Basically, that is what's going to give you a slight indication that you're dealing with someone who is either a sociopath or a psychopath. And as I said, sociopaths are um, uh, become so by their upbringing and childhood and things that they've experienced. A psychopath will have something mentally wrong inside their brain that will show up on EEG tests, combined with all the other information. And basically, it comes down to the fact that it can identify under 2 headings. You can slap those under 2 headings of a personality disorder or a near personality disorder, and they will also exhibit high levels of other things like narcissism, that is a borderline personality disorder that would be an indicator. Grandiose behaviour, that's another one. Histrionics, and we've seen those from various people. All of those antisocial type things that you hear about, they are all indicators that go to say that someone has a possible personality disorder or a borderline personality disorder. And if they are really bad, then you would be looking at the hair test. It is a very, very interesting subject to dive into. I could talk to you about it for ages, and I could give you examples of many very strange cases of people who I've had to remove forcibly through from the community through sectioning under the Mental Health Act, but that would that would take another live, I think. But does anybody have any questions at all? Is there anybody needs any answers or wants to say anything? Happy to take questions, as I'm sure Jen is, and Lizzie seems to have disappeared for a moment, but
Yeah, I think she's having. She popped into the chat there. She said she was having internet issues. So for
oh
now,
right, yeah,
and I running the show. But if she can't get back on, I mean, I have the ability to end the
yeah,
stream. So she's good.
yeah.
She's
We
actually, you know what? She doesn't have internet issues. She's outside watching that man and his butt wiggle up on the roof.
definitely, oh definitely,
We're on to
yeah.
you, Lizzie. We're on to you.
Unbelievable. I mean, yeah, you're more than welcome to ask questions. But as I said, you've got to take all that into consideration. It's not possible to diagnose someone as a psychopath or a sociopath just without meeting them personally, doing a lot of background research, social work reports, probation reports, all sorts. You can't just label someone like that, but they will have other things that will bring them up, with personality disorders. But that list that I just read to you, which is the main heading list, um, at least 98% of those should have jumped out at you of someone on the internet, on YouTube. Um,
TJ has a good question.
yeah,
Can be can being diagnosed with any of these disorders excuse you from criminal crimes?
no, no, not no. The only you can go for a plea of insanity, and that is done under the what are known as the McNaughton rules, and this applies in the States as well as the UK. It was a UK case of someone who committed a murder and claimed that they weren't responsible. If you're going to say that you were not mentally yourself at the time, you would have to go through loads and loads and loads of psychiatric tests. But basically, you have to prove that at that moment that you committed that offence, you were not in your right mind. You were not able to distinguish right from wrong. Um, and that is not the case with most criminals. And if you think that getting off with um, mental health or getting off with a mental health signature is good, it's not, because it doesn't end there. If you get found to be insane under the true meaning of insanity, they will whack you into a very secure unit and treat you, and rather a bit like Lori Vallow in America at the moment. They try to restore you to competency, but the chances are you will spend more time in a mental hospital than you would do serving a sentence for if you were found guilty. And as we know, Laurie Vallow and Chad Daybell, um, a very convoluted case in America, but she was actually insane at the time she was assessed. But that doesn't mean to say that she was insane when those crimes or those murders took place. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch that case. But what I would say to you is, um, if you now going back to someone like um, uh, the man we were talking about, if you watched the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, you will hopefully be in no doubt that that man never hit a woman or anybody in his life or was violent. Yes, he's got his problems, and but he was definitely libeled and had his career, his life, everything stripped away from him by someone who has diagnosed mental health problems, including narcissism. Um, if you imagine her and the nightmare person that she is, because nobody actually likes her, not even her own legal team, um, you think of AD as being the male version of Amber Heard on drugs, on speed. You know that you're looking at that kind of personality if you want to sort of compare him to anybody. Will do anything and will not stop, and that man will not stop until he is taken down and every measure is taken away from him to be able to communicate with people on the internet. He will continue to harass the family. Sorry, it's harass. No, it's harass. It's one R, two S's. Yeah, harass the family. And yeah, he's got bigger teeth.
Bigger than mine, for God's sakes. That's something to be proud of.
But yeah, I have noticed if you look back at his early videos, he's really skinny and scrawny and like all scruffy, and now he's as fat as a as a hog. And that day, I never will forget the day that he fell over off of his chair.
And his butt showed, yes.
Yeah, that was absolutely a sublime moment.
He didn't like that either because I made a video and I remember I put sound effects of gagging at that point when his butt crack would show. I totally, yeah.
That was
And then
absolutely.
he turns around, we're fat shaming him. No, nobody wanted to see your freaking ass and your gut hanging out.
Oh, it's disgusting. It really is disgusting. And he dresses like a teenager, you know.
Well,
I mean,
the thing is, it's either that so he dresses like a ridiculous teenager, or he's wearing his "I'm not lying" suit. But I always envision the suit and tie, or the shirt and tie and suit jacket, but those disgusting pull-away track pants he's wearing on the bottom half.
yes, yes, hidden underneath the table, definitely. Yes, yeah, I can imagine that. Yes. Oh, I don't want to imagine that. I don't want to vision that. But I have noticed that yes, over the years, as the money's rolled in, so has the food intake. Um, but yeah, Botox, fake tan. He's had his dentures whitened.
Well, if you
Um,
recall at one point when Joe the cat was still around, remember the whole high blood pressure? He had to
oh
change
yes.
every aspect of all of his eating, and she was having him buy the organic this and that. That lasted what, a whole like hot minute?
What made me really, really laugh was he accidentally showed one of his blood pressures on the screen,
Normal.
and
Yeah,
it was 110/70,
perfectly
which
normal.
is perfect. You know, that you couldn't get a better score. It's extremely good for a man his age, you know. But so, you know, that was all for a poker escape as well, wasn't it? You know,
Well,
yeah,
that is
he's saving.
to
I
help
will.
his they're all picking on me. This is what all the hate and attacks that I'm getting. This is what it's doing to me. It's affecting my mental health and my physical well-being.
Yeah, and basically, he's turning one of those on that list around because he's failing to take responsibility for his own actions. It
Yep,
will always be someone else's fault.
of
It will
course.
always be the Rosette's fault. It will always be our fault.
Well, he's
Anybody
just
who,
trying to get to the truth, Jan.
oh, of course, yeah, yeah, the truth of how much money can he actually squeeze before he is taken down,
Well,
you
for him,
know.
the truth is an inconvenience, so he creates the facts.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I've never known someone be such a pathological liar, and that is one of another sign actually of those two particular conditions that I was talking about just now.
Well, but he's a
Pathologically lying.
pathological liar in every single possible aspect of his entire life.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, the case, I mean, he's going over the red car again tonight. I mean, how many times have we heard about this damn red car that doesn't exist, driven by the poisoned wasp filled
Well, no,
with
that
fire
depends on the
flames?
day. That depends on the day, right? I mean, some days it's the wasp. The other days it was NK that was there. I think it wasn't Betty though. We know it wasn't Betty. I mean, he had a
Oh,
motocross speedway going on that morning.
oh, for goodness sake. I mean, yeah, I just want to headbutt the screen, and I'm not a violent person at all. You know, yep. Frankie, you know, we do have to laugh because it is the only way that we can deal with it.
Yeah,
So God alone knows how you manage, you and your family manage. We don't know. All we can say is that we've been here, we are behind you. I mean, I speak for myself, but many of us, including myself, have been here from day one. And being a person from the United Kingdom, seeing him, I knew instantly the minute he opened his mouth halfway into his stream exactly what he was. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And I
yes, the
can,
four chicken breast accomplices.
yes, oh, definitely. I will tell you, yeah, it's really bad. You know, only four. There were far too many people there
Well, it could
by
have
the
even been
count.
said. He just
The sh-
takes every non-entity. I mean, for all we knew, I mean, Frankie made a comment. I've got pinned now. Don't forget the four chicken breasts
mm,
that his sister saved for dinner for the four of them. I wouldn't have. You know what? To be very fair, I mean, I could have easily seen him making those all for himself, especially with the way he worked out and stuff. Protein, man.
yeah,
That wouldn't be
protein. Yeah, but don't forget, by AD's reckoning of who was involved and how many cars were speeding off and what Betty was doing,
who was
the
coming in and out that patio slash basement window in the
well,
backyard while people were
yeah,
running over the fence there.
exactly. There should have been at least 17 chicken breasts in there.
With to-go bags.
Yeah, I will tell you something that I found extremely funny, and it is a true story. And this is for you, Frankie. You can tell your mum and dad; it will make them laugh. Alan Vinicum lives in a place called Weston-super-Mare. It's a very small, typical British English seaside town. Um, Small. And the Vinicums are known throughout the town by all of the locals. And they see him coming, and those of them who know him scatter. But someone got caught in a queue for the bakery, and they said that they were vinicumed. And to be vinicumed in Weston-super-Mare means that you have been caught in a conversation with Alan Vinicum, who likes to tell everybody how he on his very own solved an American murder case, and he is so valued out in the States.
Well, he is
So
when he went to Portugal last year. Sorry, I'm laughing at TJ or Amber's comment that AD has Chris Watts packing lunches or for the murder parade. But I remember when he went to Portugal there last year, 6 7 months ago. He had said, and he was so proud of himself, but he had said that he had talked to a couple in the bar for 3.5 hours about the Chris
oh,
Watts case.
oh my
Could
God.
you imagine you're on, like, it was still, pandemic time. So imagine being approached or sitting with your husband at the bar and this weirdo from the UK, I'm a famous YouTuber, and then goes right into the whole spiel. Oh my God. Vacation ruined right there.
Yeah, definitely. I think that we should put out a general warning. Have you been vinicumed?
I think it's in the Urban Dictionary, actually. I think
Definitely.
it is. Yeah. 20
Oh,
million subscribers and many millions of others think that Chris Watts did not act alone, for God's sake.
oh yeah. I just what I have
But
noticed.
30 people in Patreon on any given night.
Well, half the time it's only us in there because
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, that's true. The majority of it would be us too. What an embarrassment! It's right.
yeah, but Michael Shaw does brilliant write-ups in Lizzie's group, no hate group,
I'm gonna drop the link.
and they are absolutely hysterical. And when you get to the point where you can listen to only 5 minutes of him going on before you want to punch through the screen, you just come away and read Michael's synopsis. Not only does it make you laugh, but it gives you all the salient facts and the latest claims. And it's brilliant. I've told him he should collect them all and put them in a book, a pamphlet to be
Hi there,
published.
I'm back, and I have been trying to do just that for him. But I mean, he's got over 100 or more,
Oh, I know.
and I'm really trying to find a way to put them together because it's just absolute great. It's like history in the making every day.
Yeah, it's like Adrian Mole at 13 and a half, the diary of Adrian Mole, isn't it? Sort of seeing AD sort of develop from a decrepit teenage wannabe old man to sort of like really decrepit teenage old man. You
No,
know,
he's a decrepit, whiny, busybody Betty, man. That's all. He's worse than women. No
oh,
saying he's jealous
definitely.
housewives.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, God knows. Hell, I couldn't even live in the same town of him. You know. Yeah, I remember that, Roberta. Roberta's just said, remember the guy he met
He
at
was
the
a
poker
Viking.
booth?
He was a Viking.
Yep, and he was going to pay for him to go on a poker and
A
murder
world
tour.
poker and true crime
Crime
tour.
tour. Yeah.
Which
And
reminds me,
he opened up one of his
Green
channels,
thing.
the little channel that's now Juju channel. He opened
Mhm.
that up, and
No,
I
he
have
changed the name of
videos.
it actually, Lizzie. He changed the name of it. That was actually like
Yeah,
his channel.
sorry, it was an old channel, but he
Mm.
used the Juju channel, and he opened it with teaching everybody how to play poker.
Well, that was at the point where he couldn't deny anymore. Where right, like this is going back what, maybe 2 years now. He forever, for the longest time, never acknowledged, denied that he played poker. But we were finally getting at him putting videos out where it got to the point that he couldn't deny it anymore. So he tried to
Yeah.
turn it into, right, it's his hobby.
Hobby my ass. It's a,
Yeah,
it's a need. But
yeah, addiction.
oh God, you could write a 3-volume book, on the man. He's just he's a
He's just very,
psychiatrist
yeah.
stream.
Sorry.
He's a psychiatrist stream. Yeah, but that actually reminds me um, of one of his very first grifts, because he was collecting money and donations um, for a tour around, I think, the UK, and it was to talk about his murder cases that he solved. That was the one where he totally and utterly humiliated Colin Sutton, who is one of the UK's best top retired detectives, who caught the serial killer, English serial killer. Oh, his
I
name
can't think of his
escaped.
name either.
But yeah, he is a brilliant,
He
and
did
was a brilliant.
Manhunt too, right?
Eli someone. Eli someone. It will come back to me. But yeah, he tricked Colin into doing this thing with him. Mike will remember, because he actually went to it. And AD was screaming at Mike to say, "Don't let anybody in without paying. Make sure you get the money. Make sure you get the money."
Yeah, well,
And
Mike's told us a little bit of that, and it's what a nasty, not Mike, what a nasty piece of work AD is.
oh, he is. He is. And
Right down to just to give you an idea, right down to I guess out of the two mics that he had, one for himself and one for Colin, one of the mics was not working well. Guess who got the really shitty mic? And it
oh yeah.
wasn't AD.
Yeah, he also he used another case which is well known in England about it's referred to as the Bambi murders. The basically the adopted son murdered um, his adopted parents, his adopted sister, who did have some psychiatric problems, and her two child twins.
Levi
Um, yeah,
Banfield, yeah.
yeah.
I
No,
mentioned that, but I was on mute.
Jeremy Bamber. It's the Jeremy Bamber case.
Oh,
And
Mr. Shaw has some interesting insight on that in terms of
oh, well,
AD, or sorry, Purdy Fraud's perspective on that.
I know, well, completely way out. And even Colin said at the time, well, that's an interesting theory that no one would consider, really. Yeah, Mr. Shannonite, yeah, you're right, Jeremy Bamber. He even tried to criticise the police on that as well. It's just,
Well, being former MFI, MI5, I guess he has every right to do that, right?
yeah, license to bore. Yes, yeah, definitely. 001 license to bore, or Vinicum. Yeah.
Bumble detective, Metadate, duh.
Oh. Do you know? I really. There's times when I want to just take a header or a footer from an email and copy and paste it into a post and say to him, right, AD, you understand metadata. Just tell me what this says, will you? Just tell me, describe it for me. And he doesn't even know what the word means.
Well, no,
You know,
that's just it. That's the kind of funny thing is all of this time he prides himself on being this. His brand is metadata. That's why I say now metadata, duh, because he's prided himself all of this time on being the world's most brilliant metadata expert when he doesn't even use it in the correct context of the meaning of the
No.
word.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, and I mean, I had my time of writing HTML, and that blew my mind. I've forgotten it all now, but yeah, Lady Lucan, he's a manger nuisance. That's another word that needs to go into the dictionary. Manger Tom, his version of Manger Tom.
Oh.
Oh God.
He has wrecked so many great songs.
Oh,
No, he hasn't. Not for me. He hasn't.
No, Jen
I refuse.
refuses to watch them, and that's
Mm.
her way, which is probably the absolute best way.
I think it would, if I were to even listen to one for a second, it would completely change the core of my being. That's why.
Oh,
I
it
refuse
would.
to do it.
Yeah, it would. It has put shivers down my spine. But the
And
one
again, I
that,
just want to say, on behalf of the Worldwide DJ Organization, I would like to say we denounce the claims of the Pervy Fraud ever having been a DJ or famous.
yep, yep. He started off, I believe, as a hospital DJ, entertaining patients, and then he got a job at a disco, but they all used to take the mick out of him,
Him and
and
his onesies.
yeah, they had him sitting on one of his speakers, crying his eyes out,
Yeah, I saw
wearing
that.
his white leotard.
They're picking on me.
Yeah, yeah, typical.
He was crying because, well, I remember the post. It was sort of a flashback. These people that used to go to that bar, and apparently he was in a ball on the floor of the DJ booth crying because the speakers had blown. Well, if you were a good DJ, you wouldn't have blown the speakers in the first place.
Yeah, yeah. I doubt he really knows what he's good at apart from
Lying.
bullcrap. Yeah, bullcrap. Yeah, definitely.
He's
But
good at talking and making up things on the right at the moment. And he's very rarely ever got caught out. He can twist anything
yes,
anybody says. He can twist it immediately in his mind, because this is how his mind works,
mm,
into benefit himself. But the one time, well, there's a couple of times, but one time when he got Katie, who was questioning him in Patreon,
mm.
and she wouldn't give in, and she hung on. And he said, "Okay, we gotta go." No, I. He really had trouble with her, and that's the reason he can't accept anybody questioning him, because he doesn't. It's not easy for him to come up with an answer.
He doesn't have the skills on confrontation. He can't have a real debate
That's
with
the
anybody.
word I was looking for, Jen. Thank you.
Yeah, and he can you can give him a bit of information, something very very simple, and he would not be able to reason it logically. Even simple things I've noticed that are very, very obvious. He cannot see the rationality of what's coming across. He has no mental capacity to
I think he
problem
does.
solve
I
at
think he
all.
knows. I think he knows damn well what's going on, and he's just that's one of his, for lack of better terminology, ways of coping. Like ignoring everything, pretending it's not happening if he doesn't mention it.
Yeah, well, that's another one on the old hair
Checklist.
score. So I tell you what, if you ever want to read into the subject, then there's a really good book I can recommend, and it's called The Psychopath Whisperer by Kent Keel, and that's Kiehl, and it's inside the minds of those without a conscience. And it's one of the best textbooks that I've ever had and ever read. And I would recommend that to anybody who is interested in in the mental health route. But yeah, I mean, where we go from here is, as I said, if you want to send me stuff privately, it won't go any further than me, other than to the police. But I do insist that it has been reported through the proper channels to the police first, so that it gets channeled to the right people. But if there's something that's happened to you that you particularly want me to mention when I meet with them at the end of this month, then send me your evidence and I will at least give them your details and they can contact you. That's if you want to take it further. But a fool and his money are soon parted. And you can see he parts with his over the poker tables, but unfortunately, gullible subs are still parting with it.
And they're not just gullible, they're vulnerable subs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is the thing. This is the main issue here, because a lot of people donate, and that's fine if they want to donate, and if they're silly enough to donate, then good on them or whatever.
Yeah.
But there are so many people that are really want to see Patreon and they can't afford it, and because he's cut down and sold out all the lower tiers, and he just doesn't have any compassion for anything.
Well, we just talked about that. I'll drop the link, and I just did a live last week about that very factor. This whole time that I'll just sum it up very quickly. This whole time that in his Patreon, where he's given off the perception, and basically what he's doing is false perception deception. All of these $1, $2, and I'm talking U.S. currency, but his $1, $2, $5 tiers that have shown to be sold out all this time is a crock of shit. It's basically a front to it's false advertising. What has happened is he opened up for one night last week, coincidentally and conveniently enough, right at the end of the month where they would get charged twice. He opened up to give off, to allude that he was giving them a deal of a lifetime. They could join Patreon for $5. He opened up, and you could see under the $5 tier, 5,230 something seats available. He only had like 650 Patreons. So that right there shows that he purposely closes all of those available seats off to give off the perception that things are sold out, to make it look like it's a hot, that he's a hot thing and people are like, pushing each other out of the way to join Patreon. When it's
and also because he wants the higher values.
That too.
Because you can bet your life that there's not only people paying just the £10, or $10. They're paying higher rates.
$50 a month, and I think what is it that there was somebody who was there was one person that I know that paid him for the whole year.
Oh God. Oh,
yeah,
no.
he's pushes for the whole year, and they do. One paid for the one that I know. I'm sure there's lots more, but one that I know.
Look what happened to Summer way back many years
back.
Back. She paid the
I remember that.
His highest tier was like a board member, where you would get exclusive one-on-one and be able to make decisions, and she got taken basically for her money. Sorry, Summer, I don't mean it to sound bad, but he ripped her off too and got nothing. She got nothing.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, a lot of hate, apparently.
Sorry, nothing that was promised in terms of, if you buy this tier, absolutely nothing. And she got a hard time for a long time.
And he suggested that she should join again under a different name.
Yes.
What a cheek.
So she could send more money, I guess.
More money, exactly.
Yeah, he targets mainly the people abroad because they won't be so ready to take him to court or chase him for the money.
Well, he also targets the lonely and the vulnerable.
Yeah, definitely. there's been so many examples that you just haven't got time to discuss them all, really.
Well,
You
if you
know,
think about it, if you go into a live every night and you're welcomed and everybody else welcomes you and hi and they discuss everything, that in itself is enough to keep a lot of them in there.
yeah,
Forget what he's doing. They're there for the chat and the people and to be welcomed and to feel somebody. Well,
yeah.
feel like somebody.
What amazes me is the ones who say, "Oh, AD, you look so gorgeous tonight. I really love you." And dear God, Roxby, she's a couple of tarot cards short of a pack. You know, someone, for God's sake, sort her deck out. You know, it's you're going to be successful this time, AD. She's going to be arrested. Oh yeah, right. Oh
Well,
dear
he
God.
originally brought her on at a time when he was looking for a wife and she'd said she wanted to marry him.
Oh my
She'd
God.
marry him.
Well,
I mean, she was married, but he discovered that after. But I've got that video when she first appears,
oh my God.
before he knew her.
Well,
Racist Roxby.
when she first came on, or whatever, she looks like a ventriloquist dummy. She does.
Yeah, yeah. And you know the horror film where the ventriloquist dummy ends up taking over the ventriloquist. It's a very old horror film in the 70s, I think. But it's got this really horrible ventriloquist dummy that is, like tame now, but scary back in those days. She reminds me of one of them. You know, oh,
It's, I mean, it's just a load of what's it? I'm sure there are people that really study it and absolutely and possibly it's there's something to it.
mm,
I wouldn't want to ever put down something that I don't know myself about, but we do know for a fact that psychics and tarot card readers, I mean, they're advertised for,
yeah,
and they just have to get a card and just practice a few times and learn a bit. Well, learn a bit of the information that they're given, as in the case of fortune tellers and stuff. They look for
mm,
something within that person, either a nod or a look or something to follow on with the next bit. I'm sorry,
yeah. No, I tell you what would be interesting is to get Bubbles, Chicken Lady, AD, and Roxby and make them subject to the really, really brilliant channel, the Behavior Channel. You may have heard of them. They're brilliant.
well, Jan, I just want to say something here, and I'm afraid I have to say it.
Mm,
um I was all for that kind of thing, obviously,
mm,
because you can go along with them and you can say, yes, that's what I feel, that, in that respect. But
mm,
after studying the Madeleine McCann case for
mm,
15 years,
mm,
and they came on and did a behavioral assessment of Jerry and Kate McCann. And let
mm.
me tell you, they were totally, 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 without question, wrong.
Were
And
they?
from that day, I refused to watch them because they lost their credibility with that one thing. They may be right in everybody else, but for that,
Mm.
they were totally wrong. They were
Ah,
taking the mainstream media idea of who they were and assessing them as not complicit. But the fact is, they are complicit, according to the Portuguese police. And the facts, they are complicit, but the behavioral channel were on their side, so to speak. And credibility for them, I lost totally. Even if
really?
they say they're right in everything else, I don't care because I refuse. I don't just refuse to watch them. There's no need for me to watch them because they didn't get it right once. So who's to say that any other is wrong?
Yeah, I watched the interesting ones. They were spot on with Amber Heard. But then I think anybody who
Yeah,
wants
and this is
her
it.
on the
Most of us,
stand, you
most of us
know,
can do that. Yeah.
yeah, that's it. You know, it's yeah. I suppose they can't be right all of the time, but
Uh, yes, if it was something small, but this is
yeah,
absolutely major, and they got
yeah,
it totally, totally wrong.
wrong.
When everything points to them being complicit,
Mm,
and they get it
What was,
totally wrong. No, I'm
what was
sorry.
that, Lindsay?
mm.
When everything majored? Is that what I just heard?
The ten
Yeah,
of
I'm sorry. I just feel
testicles.
so passionate about that because
Yeah.
well, credibility is one of the most important things to me. And
Yes.
throughout my 15 years doing Maddie and whatever, I absolutely try to ensure that everything I say either has a link to the fact or is a fact, or I can show the proof. And everything is that's absolutely important to me. My credibility is what I rely on. And once or twice it's been questioned for different reasons out of my control, but no. And so if they are willing to go and do um, a, a supposedly high importance case,
Hmm.
when it's known that they were complicit, it's only the newspapers that say they were not. The facts show that they were complicit, and they get it wrong. It's like, no, they're what is possible is that they do have the abilities, but they may check out the media to find the details so that they can kind of use those along with their. That's what I think probably happens.
Yeah, I do know that they have individual chat. Well, certainly Chase Hughes has his own channel as well. Um, so yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
it's
if they were said, okay, you're doing the McCann, we'll do the McCann case, and they each checked it out in,
mm,
without looking at the truth channels, the sorry about that.
yeah,
If they just looked it up in the media, then they'd get an idea from the media, and that's, I believe, what they went with.
You
yeah.
know what? Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I just pinned TJ's post. I hear Silly Nana and her
Yeah.
new baby are doing great. That should be, you know what? The next time she makes a douchebag comment and no hate, that should be the question that is asked of her.
Yes, she's a hit and run poster. She comes in and says something really silly and nasty, and then runs and never comes back.
Well, that should be the
Oh,
reply. I know it's ridiculous.
Listen, I
mm,
just want to say, as you know, I'm pretty different to everybody else, and I do allow his subs or his um, mods to be in no hate. I do
mm,
ask that they don't say anything um,
mm,
nasty in as much as uh, towards us. But
mm.
certainly, if they want to take the time to explain where we were wrong, supposedly,
Yeah.
then that's absolutely fine. I will say that when she comes in, she does only make odd comments, but apparently, and I think it's kind of, whether you like it or not, I think it's kind of important to know that she does have eye problems and she does have some other problems. So it might not
Uh,
be as easy for her to get into that kind of
mm.
commenting and things like that. I'm not I'm not saying one way or the other, but I hope everybody would keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Personally,
Well, I think
ignore
that
it.
you have to maintain your credibility. You have to always remember your professionality as well. If
And
that
not only
that
that,
mm,
I mean, everybody is a real person. How they act doesn't bother me.
yeah,
I don't look at how people act, and again, I'm
mm,
way off base with most people here. If somebody does things which are outrageous or nasty or whatever,
mm,
I don't see that person. I see the person I believe is inside creating that has the issues that create that
Yeah.
that problem.
Yeah.
So I don't get easily angered. I and hence I've really only got the one person, because I do chat to everybody. They can
Yeah.
hate, and everybody can hate them, but I'm right there chatting to them because it doesn't, and that's not, it's me. That's all.
Yeah.
But one person that really upsets me because of using and abusing those vulnerable ladies who,
Yeah.
in some instances it's their own fault, but then a lot of them are new. They're really transient right now. Crikey, I think if you look at the participants this week compared to 2 weeks ago, they're probably totally different.
Yeah. Most of them are signed up with their families' names, their dogs' names, and all sorts. He's got a lot of odd people in there because he
Well,
asked.
no, I think they're just new people that have looked at his
Mm,
library of
mm,
and just subscribe, and so get notifications. I don't think they subscribe because they follow him and all his views.
no.
I think they subscribe because of the topic, and
Yeah.
then come in and watch him, and then leave all those negative comments, and
Mm,
then disappear, and then come into no hate and tell us all about it.
Well, I know, like at
exactly.
times, like not even AD related, but I'll do a search, say for Judge Judy episodes, and
Mm,
I'll find a channel, and what I'll do is I'll just subscribe to that channel because so I don't have to go back and try and find it again. But like you said,
yeah.
you're busy, then I never, it just sits in my list
Yeah.
again. So it's more like for me, I'll subscribe to a channel. I've only found that channel purely because I'm searching for something else and they have a video, but I want to check out what else they have or something right at another time, and boom, I just subscribe. Not because I intend on following them. It's just an easy point of reference.
Yeah, that's it. I tend to do the same. Actually, I'll see a video that I like, and I can't download it there and then, so I just sub to the channel, and then I forgot
Forget
Yes.
you.
about it.
Can I just address the one you just put up, Truth Justice? My
That one.
future is looking bright, and she is spot on. Absolutely spot on.
You know what? True,
TJ,
TJ,
you must be psychic.
she's got
Oh,
some serious psychic skills there. She managed to come out and let you know what one of all 12 zodiac signs you are. That is some skill.
She got it right. Absolutely.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't falter. You really can't. I mean, the sad thing is, AD probably believes her. That's
Well, you know what though? I don't know if you've had a chance. I just put out a video yesterday. I put the link in the chat
yeah.
of Roxby doing one of her readings, and for probably one of the first times I can ever recall, even friggin' Alan couldn't fucking he was like, oh my god, what the hell is she doing? The look on his face. The more I watched the video, I watched it, I was like, the funnier it got, realizing his reaction to her freaking ridiculous nonsense.
Oh my god. Yeah. Well, nutters attract nutters, don't they?
Yeah.
There's always one or two. Yeah, yeah. We want the winning lottery numbers. Yeah, definitely. Between 1 and 100. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry, Miss saying goodbye to Frankie. He's probably gone now, but it was
You went to go
lovely
have
to
some
see
July
him.
4th hot dogs.
Yeah, it was wonderful to see him in here and to let him know that there are an awful lot of people who value him and his family, and we keep them in our thoughts and our prayers. And we will do anything legal to stop what is happening to them. We can't possibly make the world right for them, or that's never going to happen. But at the very least, they should be allowed, especially coming up 4 years, the chance to start to grieve properly.
Yeah.
And they should not be having any of this crap going on. It's just ridiculous.
Well, we are doing our best, and
Mm,
I think we're doing a pretty good job.
yeah.
Just because nothing is happening right now or appears to be happening, we
Mm,
are doing our best, and I think that's what's most important, to
yes.
know that we didn't stand back and say, forget it. But
Yep.
how they feel, yeah, I can't even begin to imagine. I'm like, the memory of
Mm,
thinking about how they passed is
yes.
more than enough for anybody on. Whoops.
Drop something,
Sorry,
Lizzie.
that was the cat got me.
She's just fallen off of the roof with that joke.
Oh no, the little chap was having a chat with me out there. I
I
was
know he was. That's why we knew you were gone.
but
Better
no,
leave, you better leave your blow up doll in the closet there, Lizzie.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. The internet actually did go down, and I went out there and tried to listen on my phone. But you know me, I can't
oh,
use my phone
bless you.
very well, so I moved a lawnmower and what have you. But you know what?
You know, you're doing an awful lot of over explaining why you were gone.
Yes, yes. It sounds a bit. Yeah. What moving lawnmowers?
Sounds
Yes,
No.
like AD was telling us when he lost his wallet. Have you ever heard anybody tell such a long? I mean, he lives in a small flat. He looked under every cushion, around every crack,
Oh,
in every corner at this restaurant. That holy cow! You could
yeah,
tell he was making it up, making a over
yeah.
exaggerating every little thing that never happened.
Unbelievable. But anyway, it's really nice to see people here from other groups
and
as
thank you
well.
so much, Jan, for you too. You've
No,
really been
no.
working hard, and I really appreciate. And I'm sorry, everybody. We arranged this for about a week and a half ago, but I was moving, and then once I got here, we didn't have the internet connection, and I only actually got my laptop an hour before, set up an hour before this live, so I wasn't even sure if it was going to work. But Jan, no, JC did all the work for
She
me.
did.
Can you believe she took over and did it all for me, and I didn't have to worry about a thing?
I
So
didn't
It's
take
brilliant.
over. Don't say that. You make it sound like I'm controlling.
no, when I say take over what I was trying to do but couldn't.
Yeah.
You
No,
took over.
that's
But, so
it's good, and I think we need as well to speak regularly about what we're doing and how we're getting on, because people are getting disheartened if they don't hear. I know that there is no way that anybody should be talking about a case that is going forwards. I mean, you just don't do it. You know, Frankie can't talk about what is going on. Although he did mention it, I did know it for quite a while, but he mentioned it in the comments. I think you missed it, but um, DA Rourke will be sitting next to Frankie when
Oh, I
he
did see
goes
that. It was a
to
good
the
one.
High Court at
Yeah.
the Old Bailey. So
Maybe
Alan will
AD
get
can tell him right to his face how corrupt he is.
oh wow.
exactly.
So what that means, we're going off with a big bang here, because I think one of the things that will uh, really make a difference to a lot of what that person does, is to know that he's going to be faced with DA
Yeah.
Rourke after
And
everything that he has said and done and lied about. He will shrivel up in the corner. I can't even believe that is a great possibility.
well,
That is
yeah,
sufficient for me to say I am never giving in now. This is it. I want to see that day.
yeah, that's how I feel. And after hearing what he said last week, it was the end. But when you add up, I mean, even if they don't go ahead, you add up the time that he would accrue in jail for all the breaches of the many breaches of all of those statutes. He would be looking, you know, if they ran consecutively, which and that he served the 3/4 sentence rather than just the third, he would be looking at something like 20 years over just what he said in a channel. And then with what he's done abroad with Dr. B and all the fake people, you know, the FBI would love to have him over there as well. He's going to be, well, he probably is one of the most hated men on the internet right now,
Well, I
Well,
and the
personally
most
don't.
vulnerable. I
I
don't
don't care
hate
what
him. I think,
happens to him. I absolutely do not care what happens
mm,
to him. What I want is for him to be proven to be what we have been claiming,
yeah,
and to so he can't attack the Ruseks anymore, the
mm,
family, and he cannot take money and make his money from vulnerable ladies. And
yeah,
that is all I want. I don't care if he gets this, that, or the other. I
yeah.
just want him to um, be accountable and show and it proved that what we have claimed that he is going to be accountable for.
That's it. And
but
you
you know
know,
what? 20 years, 20 years in a law as a retirement home for him sounds just fine.
oh yeah, yeah. I wish it would be that. I doubt it very much, knowing our jury
Well, let's hope
system. But
it's not fines because we know he's not got.
oh, he's not going to be able to pay those. Not not after he's paid Frankie, but for the libel and the harassment. But he has
To
said
be able to
he
pay
will
those.
never give up. Yeah, he his personality, of which I have tried to give you an indicator of, um, he means it. He will not stop until he is stopped.
Yeah.
And that means disconnecting him from any connection on the internet whatsoever. And then he can't scam the world at large, can he? He can just do it to people's faces and have them go
Yeah,
after him.
in his own little place.
Mm.
And
Well, and that's just
Yeah.
it. He thinks, he thinks he's above any rules and regulations, and we know he's always had that attitude. I'm not going to stop. Nobody's going to
No
tell
one's
him
going to
what to do,
stop. No,
and
no.
he's going
And
to. Yeah, he's forcefully
yeah,
going to be taken down, and I can't wait for it.
yeah, it's important that we get his subs or people who lean towards him to watch the videos from the truthers. All brilliant. And we need to encourage them to be taking a look at the truth and listening to things like this, encouraging them to come in. And those comments on his video were brilliant. That uplifted me to see people were actually, you know, turning on him, his own subs.
yeah, now
But
there's I did have a clip, and I'm
mm,
not even going to look if I've got it on here right now. But as you know, I love watching Dr. Phil, and he came up with the confirmation bias, and that is that some people will, no matter what is put in front of them, will never ever be able to see the truth. But
yeah,
also,
Oh, choose
the more
not to
they are attacked about it, the more they dig their fingernails in and stay with it.
that's exactly what you're seeing with Amber Heard right now. And
yeah.
he is the male version of Amber Heard, literally. But I just want to say, Frankie, I saw that you're still here. We are here for you. I know that you have very bad days. You're always welcome to come in all of the groups. We are here to support you, and we've got your back. That's the only way I think that we can say it. We're doing what we can legally, and we have your back. And you only need to come in and say hello. you might know us, but I think each of us who have been here from and got involved, we know you and your family very well, and we hold you in high esteem. And it's you have shown a side of the internet. Yeah, there's been all the hate that you've been having to put up with, but it's things like this when you see how many people around the world support you. Um, it gives you the impetus.
Sorry.
So
So
um,
I'm not laughing at you, Jen. I'm sorry.
no, 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 no. I just want him and his family to know that they are loved and respected all over the world, especially in the UK. And I will guarantee you 100% that when it comes to court, I will be sitting in that gallery, and nothing will stop me from going there. So I will be there to support you. And as I said, thanks ever so much, everybody. If if you do have any questions for me that you don't, obviously you're welcome to contact me um, personally in private. You you can get me on the group and just ask, and I'll contact you, and we'll sort out. And maybe I'll sort out an email that I can give out to everybody if they feel that they've got something that they want to ask. But I always give this disclaimer. Yes, I have all the legal qualifications you could possibly want. I also am a forensically trained mental health specialist, social worker. However, my advice that I give to you in terms of the law is not to be relied on independently, because I do not have at this moment, or I am not covered under this moment by a practice certificate. I could do work for a solicitor and I would be covered by them, but my legal days are long gone, um, and, and I just want to make it clear that I'm not holding out to be someone who can give you individual and personal advice that you can rely upon. It would be misleading of me to say anything else. But
Thanks,
anyway,
Jen.
yeah, thank you very, very much for listening. And I hope I haven't yacked everybody's ears off to death.
Oh, listen, there has been so many great comments about
Oh,
this live and your information. I am so grateful that you took the time to come out here, and I'm
no
also,
problem.
as I keep saying, grateful to Jen for being here and also helping me with everything. But I think we'll put together some more stuff, and we'll do it more frequently now because I'm a free person again.
Yeah,
Not that I've
definitely.
not been free, but I just didn't have time.
That's
It's not that I've been
the
off.
right price.
I haven't had somebody in the closet and let them out frequently.
No, that's because he's up on the roof today.
Yeah, he's up on the roof. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the roof man. He's still down there somewhere. I can see him. But
It's
anyway,
fun
I think it's a great time to close
to
for
wind
now.
up.
And
Yeah. And to
I
wish you
do
all
really,
Sure.
really thank
If you don't mind,
everybody.
I'll play.
yes, just to
Hang on.
wish everybody in America a happy 4th of July.
Yes, happy
Yeah,
4th of
I'm
July.
sorry, that's it.
Okay, and Jen, what's your last words?
My last words. I didn't have time to write a speech.
You didn't? Oh, for
No, I
goodness
didn't.
sake, I told you. Please make sure that you've got everything.
I'm fired. Moneypenny's been fired. Moneypenny the second has been fired. No, I was just gonna say I have it set up up if you want, Lizzie. I uploaded that Roxby video that I put out so people can get an idea of the most wonderful, incredible tarot card reader that never existed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the Two of Cups is telling me that it's time that we go, and we'll say goodbye. Thanks, any mods, which I think was just you, wasn't it, Jen? And thanks to everybody for being here. I know I didn't go into your names, but I specifically wanted this video to go straight into the details for people that are clicking on it, and hopefully they will. Hopefully it'll get spread around, and because it's gone streamed by genetic code, it will reach some of her subs too, because I don't know what I've got, but it's certainly not enough for to make a big impact. So
you have a following.
Okay, so thanks everybody. And no, I'm not going to say that, Sunray. I was going to say that, so I decided on cup of whatever, because there's always a cup of something, isn't there?
Oh, the 10 of Testicles? Is that what you were going to not say?
No. You know me. I'm an old lady.
I wouldn't mind. It's all daytime for you. It's 11 at night for me. So
Okay. Well, thanks again, everyone. Thanks for
problem.
Frankie for coming in. And do make sure that if you need anything, you can contact me or the others. I try and tag you if I've got anything specific in No Hate. And we'll be up again, but maybe we'll do it a lot more often than we have been doing. So
we will do.
We'll work on maybe different topics, whatever. So good night from me.
Yep, good night from me, and God bless and happy 4th of July, that you Americans, and enjoy your freedom from the UK. We won't harp on that though, will we? But,
right. And can I ask the two of you to just hang on after we close, after the broadcast?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay. So night, everyone.
Yep, night.
Thanks so much.
Oh, Anna Palaxis wants a reading. A fellow spanner of yours. She's never been read in her life. Anna Palaxis. You have to tell us your birthday, Anna Palaxis, please.
Steve, before she tells you your future, let me tell you her past. 40 years of alcoholism and 3 doctorless abortions.
You are a sad, angry little person.
That's uncanny!
Anna Palaxis, we need your birth sign.
That'll come up.
She's been asking for a reading a few times.
You're welcome, Don. Anytime.
Anna is Scorpio.
Okay.
Now, Anna used to be a police officer, I think. I might be wrong with saying that. I don't know. Something like that. So.
Oh my God! Wow, the Lovers, the 4 Swords, and Temperance. I don't really know if that's a reading.
Jennifer Coe can't get over it. She's over the moon.
I know. Oh wow, are you with the fire sign? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, man. Wow, the Queen of Pentacles. You probably have Earth in your chart.
Right, so here's Anna. She's Scorpio, and she's had health challenges.
Eight of Swords. What are you worried about? Stop worrying. You have nothing to worry about. I mean, you have the Lover's card here. Is your husband or a boyfriend, whoever, trying to make a decision between you and another woman?
Say what?
Is your husband or a boyfriend, whoever, trying to make a decision between you and another woman?
Hey? What?
I'm thinking that's the case here. Her husband's trying
to that's
a
not
decision between two people.
Is her husband making a decision between her and another woman? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Sorry,
either
Alan.
Sagittarius or a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn woman. I'm surprised she's not even here.
Well, if that turns out to be true.
That's probably what is going to happen. Your husband is right under the Lover's card. And, I mean, the King of Wands is a very passionate, determined man. Maybe the person he's with is a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn woman. They're right next to each other.
Well, Anna says their marriage is very strong, so...
Oh, it is?
Well, that's what she's just put here.
Her marriage is very strong. Okay, then that's you and him.
I see it.
Wow! Steve, she's just repeating whatever you say.
With the
Maybe
Lovers.
you're getting mixed up with someone else.
No, I focused on her. You definitely have exciting news coming in. Something that's going to, like, really make you so happy. Whatever it is you're waiting for from your husband, I see you getting it. I mean, you're the Four of Swords, too. Either you or him is, like, just taking a break and thinking about life. Thinking about your relationship, your marriage. And he's been patient with Temperance, but now's the time. But the King of Wands is upright, so whether he's a fire sign or has fire in his chart, I don't think he's going anywhere. I really don't.
Well, my husband takes great care of me. She's very happy with her husband, so.
Yeah, I see that here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Hold on. I'm sensing something psychic. Ma'am, did you have a female relative who's passed on to the other side named,
Polly?
Polly, I said it first.
That was amazing. I've never seen a bad show at the Marriott.
I never
A lot of
thought
people
you
are
would-
saying, will NK ever be arrested?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
She will?
Yeah. I've done readings on you. Will NK be arrested?
Peter, what are you doing? Quiet, Brian. I'm performing a psychic reading.
Peter, for the last time, you're not psychic.
I most certainly am. All right, Quagmire, clear your mind. Ooh, soft hands. Clear your mind, remove all traces of unease and doubt, and I will tell you your future.
What is it, Peter?
You will die in a plane crash and be reincarnated as a prophylactic.
All right. No, not all right.
Susan Hughes, will Chris ever tell the truth
Oh,
about what happened that night?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Will Chris Watts ever tell the truth?
So, are you good at spotting liars?
And he is going to bring clarity.
Is he? That's what
into
we
the
want.
situation with the son. And AD, I've been saying this to you in chat that he's going to tell you everything, the truth about everything.
He's gonna tell AD the truth. That must be when they're sharing a jail cell together.
And that's the Incredible Roxby.
Yeah.
Reader.
A brilliant video, Jen. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think everybody loves Jen's videos.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah,
we
yeah.
best get going. So, night, everybody.
Take care, all.
Yeah, Jen. Let me give you. If you got a pen, write down my email.
Yeah, don't give it to me right now.
We're still live. We're still live.
Oh, right,
Okay,
right.
bye.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone, before Jen
sorry.
gives you her email. Jen.
Quick in broadcast.
Bye-bye.
Ignore that.